Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. I am Josh.
I'm that crazy bastard they call Jay.
That's right, and we're back with episode 30, and we got some good stuff to talk about in this episode. You know, we got some great news stories going on, and some real good topics. And we're going to be talking about some pay-per-views at the end of this.
There's just a lot of shit going on in the wrestling world completely right now.
It's true.
Like, it doesn't matter if you're a Ring of Honor fan, if you're a WWE fan, if you're New Japan, NWA, AEW, some indie-fed MLW. I mean, there is shit just going on everywhere.
That's true. So, as we do every time we have this episode, we're going to start off with some news in a segment we call Breaking Kayfabe. That's right, folks. This is the best news topic show in the wrestling. I hope you enjoy it.
I mean, I don't know that it's the best, but we've got some good stories that we're about to talk about.
That's true. And we're going to talk about a little bit of that right now. So we're going to start off with one story here. It's, it's not a good story, but I don't know how to categorize it. So we're just going to jump right into it. Aaron Frobel, also known as Michael Elgin, was arrested recently for violating a protective order against his ex-fiancée, who alleges sexual, mental, emotional, and verbal abuse against him. This happened right at the end of June, June 29th. And John, I know you have a lot to say about this, so
I do, because I'm pretty sure on one of the last recordings we did, we talked about the whole Michael Elgin going missing. We were wishing him the best. And this story lines up with the timeline of him going missing.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's just a lot of shit going on with the whole sexual allegations and wrestling thing right now. Like, you know, there's all the shit going on with Joey Ryan, Velveteen Dream. There have been other names that have come up, but now you're going to add Michael Elgin to the list. And Michael Elgin he's a name in wrestling. It's not like he's just a nobody. And it really pisses me off when shit like this happens, because first off, you were obviously found to be an unsafe person because you had an order of protection put against you, and you're going to walk through that order of protection and you're going to hurt the person that you claim that you care about. Yeah. Like, what kind of piece of trash are you? That's the way you're going to go in life. Like, you're throwing away your wrestling career. You're throwing away being potentially somebody awesome. Somebody kids look up to you. But I mean, maybe, I don't actually know if they do. But I mean, like, you're throwing all that away just so you can be that dick who fucking hurt somebody? Like, fuck you, buddy. Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, and the list of things that the list of abuse that was on this thing is just I'm gonna kind of go through some of it. Punishment for saying no to sex, berating verbally in public, berating verbally in private, isolation from friends and family, monitoring phone and computer to see if she was complying to his request, sexual caretaking, pressure to engage in sex acts that she did not want to do, exposing her sexual health by seeing both male and female sex workers during their relationship, insulting and shaming and intimidation. And that's a big list of stuff, man. Like, that's fucked up. That's fucked up, man. And I don't know if there's something mentally going on with him. But honestly, at this point, I don't care. It's not an excuse anymore. Like, maybe that makes me sound like a bad person, but
no, honestly, I'm putting him on that list of Joey Ryan, where, like, if I ever was to be a promoter, I would never hire either of them.
Yeah.
Velveteen Dream, I feel like he got a little bit of the shaft in his end of, like, things that happened. There's no actual evidence that shit happened, but there's a lot of claims. Yeah. And then, you know, WWE was like, oh, we'll investigate it, but they fired him anyway. Like, I feel like something probably did happen, but there's no real footing to it, which is sad, because if it actually happened, I feel bad for the people. And I don't think people just go out of their way to make up stories like that. But again, this is a different time we live in where, like, a lot of people step forward, and I mean, sometimes it's for the wrong reasons. Sometimes it's for 15 minutes of fame. Clearly, this Michael Elgin situation isn't for 15 minutes of fame. There was actual like evidence to this shit going on, and he's just a piece of trash who needs to fucking find the end of my baseball bat.
You know what? Totally agree. And yeah, I don't think I want to give him any more screen time than necessary. So fuck that guy. We're gonna move on. All right, and that brings us into our next our next news story, and that is this one's a little bit older. Since it's been a bit since we did an episode, I wanted to talk about this one. Regardless of the fact that it's about 3 weeks old, and that is Jungle Boy has become the first star in AEW to hit 50 wins.
Oh yeah,
and I gotta say, I did not expect it to be Jungle Boy. Out of all of the people on that roster, I wouldn't have thought that. But you know what? Bravo for him. That's fantastic because he is a shining star over there.
He is, in my personal opinion, he's a future heavyweight champion. Like, no doubt. Oh,
yeah. Absolutely.
Like, I know he's already technically gotten like a title shot, but like, I don't see why he couldn't be a future heavyweight champ.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Like, I feel like I blanked on that one a little bit, so I'm really sorry. But like, I mean, Jungle Boy, like me and you have talked about him countless times on this show.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
How he's the shining star of the Jurassic Express.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, I remember we had a topic a couple episodes ago.
Oh,
we talked about what what would happen if the Jurassic Express split up. And Jungle Boy was a big focus of that.
I mean, it would either be him or Luchasaurus to go big. Yeah. I mean, Marco's stunt is just Marco's stunt. Like, there's nothing you can really do in that instance.
I think allowing him to have that coveted 50th win.
Yeah.
I think that's big. I think that means that, AEW really sees something special in him, and hopefully they'll be willing to push him farther.
I mean, besides AEW seeing stuff in him, I mean, the fans see something in him.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, he resonates with fans, man. Like,
yeah,
he's good, and I like him.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that he goes on to be the first to hit 100 wins in that company.
Yes, and then 200.
That's right. And he just starts that becomes like his thing, It's like he's got to keep that record going.
Oh yeah,
I think that'd be kind of hilarious, to be honest with you. All right. So next up, we're gonna switch over to WWE. DH Smith has returned to the E. John, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's actually kind of cool. First he had the dark match in front of the crowd, like the first live crowd back with the first SmackDown of the post. What's the word I'm looking for? Thunderdome. So I mean, that was really cool. Now he did reveal though that he's not officially signed with the WWE yet, but that doesn't mean that he won't be back for something else.
Yeah.
And I know you and I were talking about this the other day, and you were kind of like, about it. And I took a different approach to it.
I like DH Smith. The problem is he never really, the first time he was around, he never really shined. And I didn't watch his match. I didn't see his match. All I saw was like the promo after.
Yeah.
And it was kind of lackluster, I get it. He just wrestled a match, maybe, whatever. But it didn't impress me the way I would have hoped that it would. Now, maybe his in-ring was way better. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch that.
Well, one of the things that I defend him in that honor with is that 10 years ago when he was with the company, him and TJ were still like really green.
Yeah.
Like they were still like fresh-faced babies out of like just from the Heart Foundation area. Yeah. So like, like they were, and it's like he said, he's been all over now. He's been in New Japan. He's been in MLW. He's taken the lump of clay he was given and he's molded himself. And I feel like the more and more he works, the more and more like his dad he's becoming. I mean, he's jacked himself up. He's built himself a reputation. And the good thing about him is, I mean, he's a jacked up dude, but at least he keeps himself grounded, unlike Teddy Hart, who is just like, who the fuck knows whatever Teddy Hart's going to do anymore.
That's true. I can never pin down anything that Teddy Hart's going to do. Who knows,
I mean,
man?
he's so off the chains. You're like, you could take the risk of like booking him, but I mean, what Teddy Hart are you going to get when he shows up? Are you going to get like
That's
the
true.
fucking strung out, drunk, druggy? Are you going to get the mellowed out dude? Or are you going to fucking get a combination of both?
I mean, part of me would love to see him in one of the main three, but I just don't think it's ever going to happen, you know?
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I mean, WWE had tried to put him in rehab, and they were going to work with him to bring him into the company for a while. But what I would have loved to have seen was him and D.H. Smith get together and bring back a version of the Hart Foundation.
Yeah, I mean, you got,
got
Natalia, in there, so like you already got a base for it. I think it would have been really kind of awesome to see that. Yeah.
Now, the thing I want to know is if they're going to bring DH back, like they brought him back as David Hart Smith this time and not DH Smith. Yeah. No, I think they actually put him as Davey.
Isn't Davey Boy Smith Jr.? Yeah.
So are they really gonna lean into like he's the British Bulldog's kid this time? Because that would give him a launch pad right there, where like, like they tried to do it with Curtis Axel for a while, where he was Mr. Perfect's son.
From what I understand, they called him British Bulldog David Hart or Davey Boy Smith Jr.
I mean, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like I know for a while he had gear made that was like his dad's. He wears his dad's old Hart Foundation vest once in a while.
Yeah, the picture that I'm looking at, it was a tweet. Like I assume it was somebody at the match took this picture, and he's got the British flag shorts, trunks on and whatnot. So yeah,
I'm glad to see he's back though.
Yeah, I'd like to. I again, because this was a dark match, and typically we don't get to see those.
Nope.
So I would love to be able to find like maybe even just some cam footage of that match. I would love to see what he brought, but I guess we'll see if he's they keep him around, if they give him a chance, even on like NXT, stick him on NXT. You know what I mean? If he's going to be around, put him somewhere. So I don't know. All right. So next up, I have a story here about Naomi. Apparently, WWE has quietly shifted her over to SmackDown. What do you think are the implications of this? Do you think it's a good sign or a bad sign? What do you think?
I don't know, because they're quietly shifting a bunch of people right now, and for like, it's weird. Like they did a call up with Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. Yeah. And that was like an under the radar thing. It was just the final moments, and like all of a sudden, like, hey, they're here. Mandy Rose just got moved back to NXT. Yeah. That happened. I think the Naomi thing might be more to help keep an eye on the Jimmy Uso problem that they're having, that they're clearly not addressing as well. Like, hey, here, you got a DUI. That's awesome. By the way, here's the tag team championships. That's your punishment.
Yeah.
Like any other fucking person would have gotten suspended for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a firing. But nah. He's a fucking Uso. He's part of the Anoli family. Let's give him the fucking tag team championships. Because God forbid Roman Reigns' fucking storyline gets a little disshuffled because someone got a DUI. Who the fuck is Jimmy Uso?
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree with that.
And I hate the fact that fans blame Naomi for his fucking DUI.
Yeah.
And she had nothing to fucking... And I know that's getting off topic of what we're talking about, but fuck the fans.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's bullshit that she... Because, like, she wound up... I'm pretty sure she wound up, like, deleting her Twitter or whatever, deactivating her Twitter and getting off social media because these fucking douchebag fans are railing on her. It's like, how about you go after Jimmy Uso, who's the fucking idiot who did what he did?
And you know what?
She didn't fucking pour a funnel of fucking booze down his throat and make him get behind a car.
Right?
Like, fuck you.
You know what sucks even worse though? Here we are defending her, and she blocked us on Twitter.
It's true. It's true. I don't know what. I don't know why she blocked us on Twitter, but you know what? I still like her no matter what. It's fine.
I mean, again, though, I think that's one of the reasons why they probably moved her. Like, she can help keep an eye on Jimmy. It's kind of like when Ric Flair's there. You know, somebody's got to make sure Ric Flair stays sober.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But yeah, I've noticed that they've been doing a lot of subtle little moves around the rosters, and like fans aren't supposed to really notice it, but like it's
fans are noticing. And speaking of SmackDown, this story wasn't on my original list, but it was something that popped into my head, and I was like, I kind of want to get your thoughts on this. It was revealed recently that AEW is creating a secondary show for Friday nights, AEW Rampage.
Yes.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this, and them going head to head with SmackDown.
I mean, I'm gonna say it like a true fan at this point. I'm not gonna pull punches. I'm going fanboy on this one.
Okay.
I think it's awesome that somebody is finally sticking it to the WWE. Yeah. Because obviously AEW has their finger where it counts right now. They are giving people entertainment. They are giving people storylines that are like they're fresh. They're building a lot of in-house talent and actually showcasing them.
Dude, AEW drove NXT out of Wednesdays.
They did.
You know what I mean? Like, no one can convince me otherwise. That's that's why they moved.
Well, one of the things that makes me laugh is all these people keep shitting on AEW about how AEW's they're becoming the new WCW because they're buying up all WWE's talent and they're putting them to work.
Yeah.
Well, first off,
I think it's more their. I mean, and I don't agree with this, but I think it's more that they're mad because Cody specifically said when they started AEW that he wouldn't do that.
Yes,
but I'm like, that's a nice idealistic kind of way of thinking. You want to think that that's the way you're going to run it.
Well, yeah.
But when it comes down to brass tacks, you're going to do what it takes to make your business thrive. And getting the best possible talent is the thing that's going to make your business thrive, then you're not just going to let these people just fucking run off to other companies. You know?
Well, I think one of the things that makes them better than TNA, WCW at least, is the fact that they're signing these people. They're not giving them instant heavyweight title shots.
Yeah.
The only person who got that treatment, in all fairness, was Brody. And Brody went into that company and he earned his heavyweight title shot. He proved to people he was better than what WWE utilized him.
I was going to say, they saw how poorly WWE was using him, and they said, you know what? We can use this guy the right way. And they did.
But I mean, you look at the fact that like they've signed people like Matt Hardy, Christian, Mark Henry, The Big Show. Yeah. A lot of these people are going over there. They weren't getting utilized half as well as they're getting utilized now.
Yeah.
And they're still able to take the talent that they've had. The Jungle Boys, the Adam Pages, the Kenny Omegas. Those people still have their own storylines going on, and they're getting there. Like, they're telling their stories. So, I mean, all these acquisitions that they're making, I mean, look at, they recently brought in Malachi Black, the former Aleister Black. They brought in Andrade. I mean, which is really funny because Andrade
I like Aleister Black a lot. Or now Malachi Black. But WWE was fucking doing nothing. They were doing nothing with him. Yeah.
No. Like, he was awesome when he was in NXT, but from the moment he got called up, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it's like, so I mean, yeah, they're adding this new show, and they're going to add in this Rampage. Good for them. It's about time somebody sticks it to WWE where it can actually.
I mean, realistically, this is actually their fourth show, if you want to think about it, because they've got AEW Dark and AEW Dark Evolution. So really,
Elevation.
They're out doing WWE in that aspect, anyways. If you want to think about it, that
because
way.
Elevation's all about introducing people to like indie talent, stuff like that. Like that's these guys coming in that they're like. You might see them on AEW Dark. You might not see them on AEW Dark.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys that we know who have been.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, so
a couple of our friends have definitely been on there now.
Yeah, and so which I think is really cool. I think they're doing it the right way. I'm interested. How do you think the new show? First off, do you think it's just going to be essentially like Dynamite, where it's the same roster? Do you think they're going to have, if it's going to be sort of a brand split? And how do you think it'll actually fare against SmackDown?
I think it'll fare well against SmackDown. And I was talking with somebody about this last night about the whole brand split idea.
Yeah.
I really hope they don't do a brand split. But I hope that they're smart enough to like continue storylines between two shows. Kind of like what WWE used to do with Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you might get one or two matches on both shows that are like similar or the same, but you're getting more talent used on the other show.
Yeah.
It's there because like not everybody can get AEW Dark or Dark Elevation. Yeah. So you got to give it to these people where like people can see them. They're also really expanding their roster right now where like they need another show.
That's true. Yeah. And like if not doing a brand split, I think will kind of almost make both Dynamite and Rampage must-see viewing.
Oh yeah.
Because like a lot of people are like, oh, I just watch Raw. Okay. And you can follow along everything that's happening on Raw, and that's fine, you know. But if they're making if there's no brand split, then it's like you see stuff happen on Dynamite, you're gonna need to go watch Rampage too.
Yeah. And I mean that's what used to happen.
You're creating must-see viewing.
Yeah, well, that's what used to happen with WCW back in the day. You know, they had Nitro, they had Thunder. You didn't know that if something happened on Nitro, what was going to happen on Thunder. You had to tune into Thunder. Because, I mean, shit. I mean, it's like, oh, man.
Even when WWE was not in brand split, they've done that a few times where Raw and SmackDown were the same. I mean, I guess for lack of a better term, continuity. You know what I mean? Like the same storylines were running through both shows, and it made it so that you had to watch, or you were going to miss something.
Yep.
You know, and I think that's a good idea for them, especially starting out, because you don't want people to be like, well, if I don't have to watch Rampage, then I'm just going to stick to Dynamite. Then the ratings are just going to tank.
Well, not to mention, like, take notice from what WWE is doing wrong and make it better.
Yeah.
The brand split hurt the WWE. It has hurt them for years because you're taking top tier talent and you're locking them to one show, and then you've got to do like lotteries and you got to do drafts and
it creates this. Well, which of these two is the better one? You know what I mean?
Because then it's like, oh, well, which show is the better show? Why does it have to be a better show?
Yeah.
It's the same fucking programming.
Yeah. You know,
like
so
WWE Raw, WWE SmackDown. Why does one have to be better? It's still the WWE.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. So, all right. So our next story has to do with Charlotte Flair, something that John loves to talk about. Yeah. WWE has apparently removed 3 title reigns from Miss Charlotte Flair's record. John, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, when I heard it, I was a little shocked. Like, I was like, 3 title reigns just taken off of Charlotte Flair. I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. I'm like, why are we? I'm like, is WWE trying to like make her not as like important? And then I did some research, and I know you did your own research too, because I asked you about it today. And so it turns out that the 3 title reigns that they pulled from her career, or her record anyway, are the NXT title reigns that she had, which I think is really kind of shitty. And I mean, I don't know your thoughts on this, but it's kind of weird because like one of those NXT title reigns, she won at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
It was a big one, you know. It was the match that took Rhea Ripley out of NXT, you know what I mean? It was supposed to be her big comeuppance into the E, and then COVID happened and she had to leave. She wasn't able to come back for a while. So yeah, like it's a big one. And part of me wonders, okay, are they like when I first heard about it, I was wondering, are they just trying to like give her space to do more title runs? without people being like, oh, she's already surpassing her father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like as we talked about it earlier today off air, it made me wonder, does this have to do with NXT more than Charlotte Flair?
I mean, and that's because, like you said, we were talking about this before we started recording. I mean, I think it could have something to do with NXT because as we were talking about, I'll bring it to the live or the recording anyway. Is that Charlotte Flair's 3 reigns were pulled? Oh my god, I just blanked.
And the stuff with Karrion Kross.
Yeah, thank you. The stuff with Karrion Kross coming to Raw to fight Jeff Hardy on Raw. You know, he loses in 2 minutes, and then he cuts his little promo, but then he goes back to NXT like nothing happened. It's not even mentioned on, NXT that he lost to Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
And then Finn Balor coming back to SmackDown. There's no mention of his 2 years back down in NXT to re-elevate himself as a fucking career maker down there.
Yeah.
And it's like all this NXT shit is hush hush, swept under the rug. So is WWE like you would said, are they trying to like distance themselves from NXT?
Yeah, my thought was like, are they planning to like dissolve NXT? So like, is that a thing?
Who knows?
Because like they have all these budgetary things going on. Well, they have a whole 3rd show that they have to pay for.
Yeah.
And that costs a lot of money. So if you wanna cut a large portion of budget, that right there, if you dissolve NXT, that cuts a huge portion of budget right there.
I mean, it really does. But at the same time, I mean, I feel bad for a lot of like all this new talent and stuff that they're signing because there's no, not to mention the people who are saved in NXT because of Hunter running the show down there. But like,
yeah,
I feel like it's a bad idea to dissolve it into the main roster because a lot of people are going to lose jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they don't do that, but who knows? They very well might.
It's a huge coincidence if that's not what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy times, John. It's crazy times.
So crazy.
Yeah, so our next story here is a pretty big one. I have to admit,
huge.
It's huge, John. Huge. Yeah. We may be seeing 2 major stars going over to AEW.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. Reports have surfaced that both of these guys have already signed to AEW.
Yeah.
I mean, not just thinking about it, but have. Whether these reports are accurate, I don't know. The Daniel Bryan one came, it was dropped by someone named Cassidy Haynes from bodyslam.net. And the CM Punk one, I believe, came from ringsidenews.com.
It did.
So, again, I don't know how legitimate these stories actually are. But I got to say, if AEW is able to pull this off, fuck, dude, that's insane.
It's going to be game-changing. And it's like I told you, I have more faith right now in the Daniel Bryan story.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Daniel Bryan already, he did his career versus title match. He's out of the WWE. Most people know he had only a limited time left with them. He's expressed interest in going to AEW. The big shocker here right now is the CM Punk story. Because it has been confirmed by multiple sources that he has at least talked to them.
Yeah.
The contract signing, it seems to be official, but it hasn't been said it's a wrestling thing yet. I mean, he could literally come in as a commentator for all we know.
Yeah, nobody really knows.
I'm not going to lie. I said this to you pre-recording. I will not believe that CM Punk is returning to the ring until I see him in actual gear walking to the ring.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't want to believe CM Punk is coming back, but I'm also not going to be one of those bandwagon fans who I'm just like, oh my God, CM Punk. Oh my God.
No, yeah, I get it. I absolutely understand that. And I'll be honest, I'm going to be hesitant on either of these stories until I see them.
I will say,
because we've heard rumors about things for, in different companies for all kinds of different people.
Oh,
and then see them not come to fruition. So
yeah.
Would I like to see it? Yes, I would, but go ahead.
I think that if AEW can land CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, I will say that I think that will put them in a slightly more advanced state than WWE would like to admit, and that will make them a valid competitor.
Yeah,
as if they weren't already, but
absolutely. And so with the Daniel Bryan report, Haynes followed up saying that the current plan for Bryan's debut is to have him arrive at AEW Dynamite Grand Slam on September 22nd, which takes place in New York City. And like, this guy seems real confident.
Oh yeah,
in this, which I find pretty interesting. And with the CM Punk one, it's this part of it's all speculation about them bringing him in before All Out. They're even saying possibly at the Chicago pay-per-view, which would make sense,
Absolutely.
or possibly even like the go home episode before that pay-per-view, so that way people know he's coming to the Chicago one, and they would get a much bigger buy rate. Yeah, if people actually know.
Now here's an interesting add into that. If CM Punk returns to wrestling, does that mean we might see a return of AJ Lee?
Dude, I think that'd be awesome.
I mean, I think she still has a lot of time left in wrestling if she wants.
Yeah. If she still wants to be in the ring, I think AEW would be a great place for her.
Oh my god, dude! I think there could be some great matches for her over there.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. All right, so our final story. WWE apparently considered splitting up the New Day back in 2019, right after Kofi lost the championship. Now, there's a rumor going around that they are going to build Kofi versus Xavier for SummerSlam. Do you think this is a possibility? We already saw them split Big E away onto a different team, so they already started splitting this team up. Do you think they'll actually pull the trigger on this finally after 2 years? And if so, what are your thoughts on that, and whether or not it's good? Because I'm torn about it, to be honest with you.
I'm gonna not lie. I'm really torn on this as well. With this episode, I know we're gonna talk about the Money in the Bank and Slammiversary and Firefest, but with Big E winning the Money in the Bank, obviously WWE has plans.
Yeah.
And they've always seen something in E anyway. So, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Big E is a great talent. So is Kofi, and so is Xavier in his own rights.
Yeah.
But as much as I hated them when they first got together, because I was like, oh, great, Nation of Domination 2.0, they made it their own thing, and they
did, man. And
but now New Day's been around for like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, maybe it is time to split them up. Like, maybe it is time to see Kofi as a singles competitor again. Maybe it is time for Xavier to do his own. I mean, in all fairness, Big E has been an Intercontinental Champion. He's been the United States Champion. Kofi's been the WWE Champion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what has Xavier done in all this? He got hurt.
I mean, they were tag team champions for a while.
But I mean, they're record-setting tag team champions too.
Yeah,
but I mean,
look at Money in the Bank. You got Big E winning, like you said. Yeah. You had Kofi. I mean,
in the title picture.
He didn't win, but he was in the title picture. And Xavier was nothing. There was nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I have a feeling it's only a matter of time before he's like, well, when the fuck's it going to be my time?
Exactly.
You know? And I think that's where they're heading.
And I mean, like, if that's the angle they're going to push, then yes, I'm cool with that, because I mean, like I said, Xavier in his own rights. I mean, I don't know that a lot of people remember him in TNA, but I remember Truth. Like he was Consequences.
Consequences Creed. Yeah,
and I mean, like he was good. I mean, WWE, he's shown he has potential to be a top tier guy.
Absolutely.
So I mean, like, and I mean, if not top tier, at least mid level. But I mean, like, instead we pull the trigger on all these other guys, the guys who don't even like prove they've got the shit.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, I'll be honest, because I love the New Day. They're one of my favorite teams, and I'll be super bummed. Like they always do that with amazing teams, because WWE, they don't know what the fuck to do with teams, and so they have amazing teams, and they're like, well, we don't know what to do with them. Let's just split them up, and they do it all the time.
Yeah, but at least this time WWE has like New Day has went as far as New Day can essentially go right now. They saw. I mean, they're like I said, they're up there with their tag title wins. I think they're like 8-time tag team champions now or something like that together. They saw Kofi rise to the top. Like they were there when Kofi won his title.
Yeah,
like
the only way I think that this will really be beneficial is if at least one of them gets a major push.
Which is going to be Big E.
Because I don't even count Big E, mainly because he ain't on the same show with them.
That's true.
It's Kofi and it's Xavier. Like, I love Big E and I love that he's still part of the team, but he's not really. He's been split for a while now.
True,
but if they split Kofi and Xavier, an amazing team, and don't do anything with either of them, then it was just a waste.
Oh, no, I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Like, one of the two of them needs to get a major push on their show to make it worth it to me. This is me personally.
Well, I have a feeling Kofi's going back to the same show as them anyway, because they're both on Raw right now. Kofi or Big E just won the Money in the Bank. Yeah. He ain't challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. He's going to challenge Bobby Lashley for the WWE.
That's if Bobby Lashley still has it by the time he cashes it in.
I mean, that's true.
You know what I mean? Who knows what's going to happen?
Goldberg
is definitely going to probably most likely
Goldberg
happen.
Versus Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that my friends was breaking kayfabe.
That was breaking kayfabe.
I hope you all enjoyed the news.
And now, as we transition into everything else.
That's right, because it's time for the main show.
The main show!
All right. So for our first topic for tonight in the main show, we've got revolution or de-evolution. John?
That's right.
Let the fans know just what that means.
Well, first, let me start by saying, let me tell you something, brother. There needs to be some fact or some at least statements made about this revolution in the WWE. And that's right. I'm talking about the goddamn women's revolution. Okay? Me and you have been talking off camera about this for a couple of days. Shit, we've been talking about this for months. We've addressed it here on Off the Ropes, and I'm tired. No, I'm going to make a fucking statement today. This is going to probably be the longest segment I've ever went on a rant about. But I feel like it needs to be fucking said again because people just don't fucking pay attention to the women. And they're just fucking cast aside. Like, it doesn't fucking matter anymore what the women do in WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling. It's like, fuck, the women don't care. No, they fucking matter. And the fact that at least in the WWE, the women's championships are both referred to by the brand they're on and not a universal championship, and the WWE women's title is fucked up to start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's why we started doing that.
That is exactly why we started doing that. And now I'm gonna drag this out a little bit further, and I'm gonna need this dough a little bit more today, okay? So they've been talking about this women's revolution for a while, and how, Well, they want the women to be able to be themselves. They want the women to have these great matches too. So, I mean, in the last few years, we've got women's Hell in a Cell. We've got the women's Rumble. We've got the women's Money in the Bank match. You know, we've seen women's steel cage matches, hardcore matches. We now have women's tag team championships. And yes, I'm okay with the tag team championships being referred to as the women's tag team championships because, I mean, there's only one set of them and they don't have to be defined by their men's counterparts because obviously they referred to the men's tag titles as the Raw tag team championships and the SmackDown tag team championships, which is a whole nother story. Where I'm going with this today, though, Josh, and I want your opinion on this. If the women's revolution is so big, why have we not seen a Queen of the Ring tournament yet?
No, dude, absolutely. We kind of discussed a little bit of this when we were coming up with this topic. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I don't know why they haven't done this. Like, it seems like an easy fucking thing to just market and put out there and get people excited about.
You would think.
To me, it makes no sense.
I mean,
as to why it hasn't happened yet.
It kind of has with the Mae Young tournament, but it's not the same thing.
But it's definitely not the same thing.
It's not.
No. It's really not. It does not have the gravitas that like the King of the Ring would have. You know what I mean? What a Queen of the Ring would have.
It irritates me because like I noticed, and this is what started my thought process on this was I noticed a couple weeks ago with the whole huge NWO 25 was they did the photo shoot with a bunch of like divas or women. Yeah. Sorry, that was horrible of me, and I'm sorry. I meant women. There was women and men backstage. They're all wearing NWO t-shirts and stuff, and we're celebrating the heritage that 25 years of the NWO. And I started thinking to myself, if it wouldn't be such a jokey gimmick to go over, I would love to see an all women's version of the NWO. Yeah. And I'm not saying like I'm going to try to pick out like 3 or 4 women right now and say, hey, this is my NWO. But I would love to see like a serious like 3 or 4 women get together and they're like, fuck this, we're taking over. This is our time. And then they put on the NWO black and white. And then they're like, hell yeah, this is who we are. And then I started thinking to myself, though, WWE can never get it right because they couldn't even get the NWO right in the WWE. And they had the 3 original fucking members on the screen. Yeah. So then I started thinking to myself in my head, there's a possibility this one could happen. If they signed Tessa Blanchard, you could have a Blanchard and a Flair on TV together. Now, those 2 names correspond with a very synonymous group in professional wrestling, and that is the Four Horsemen. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know who the Four Horsemen is, my question to you is, what the fuck are you doing listening to a wrestling podcast? Because, I mean, the Four Horsemen is one of the greatest stables in professional wrestling ever. Okay? True. So that's just the start, okay? So I started thinking to myself, I like that the WWE has a stable that they already consider the Four Horsewomen, and that's Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, and Becky. Yeah. And I was like, that's a good 4 horsewomen. But I don't want that 4 horsewomen on TV. I want actual legacy. I want Flair. I want Blanchard. And then I was thinking to myself, well, you need 2 other women to fill out the 4 horsewomen, obviously. So you sober up Ric Flair, let Ric Flair mentor the horsewomen. You've got Flair, you've got Blanchard, and you need 2 other women. So before I talk about who I would put in there, Josh, if you could create a 4 horsewomen, any 4 horsewomen, who would you use?
See, I didn't go legacy in any way. I just went like just straight up the talent that I want to see together. Okay. And I put Asuka, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and I threw Shotzi Blackheart in there. I also said Becky Lynch if she's able, if she comes back. Okay. That was mine. But you're talking about legacy over here, and I have 2 right off the top of my head that would fit for legacy for those other 2. They're currently a tag team.
Tamina and Natalya?
Yeah.
It's funny that you would say that. So my 4 would be Charlotte, Tessa. I would use Natalya because, yes, she comes from a heritage background.
Absolutely.
But I went for someone a little different for my 4. I didn't go to Tamina.
Okay.
Raquel Gonzalez.
Oh, okay.
A fucking beast powerhouse who is yet to show her full potential. But I wanted to use Rhea, but you would have that constant like, oh, there's Rhea Ripley in the shadow of Charlotte Flair. Oh, little Flair. And I'm like, nope, I don't want that. I don't want that tension to be there. But I want to see legitimacy. I don't want to see these girls put together and then it's like, oh my God, it's the 4 Horsemen. No, I want to see them run roughshod, man. Yeah. I want to see them get together and be like, well, we're going to hold both of the women's heavyweight championships and the women's tag team championships, and maybe both the NXT women's championships, because why the fuck not?
Yeah, why not?
I want to see them legitimately be the people who are like, you know what? We're the women.
Yeah,
not these 4 women who just got together and decided to throw up some 4s. No, we're the women who set the bar.
All right, I dig that. How about this? Your 4 as the 4 horsewomen, my 4 as the new NWO.
I could get behind that.
And then they fight each other.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of potential in the women's division right now. We're seeing like Toni Storm just got called up to SmackDown.
Yeah, dude.
Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart just got called up to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Mandy Rose, we were talking about how Mandy Rose got sent back down to NXT. Is, a potential trade maybe in the Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox call-up.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. WWE has some great female talent. And I mean, I'm literally saying like they're pulling all these people from like India. They're getting some of these great Japanese women in here. Mm-hmm. And yet they're still not able to showcase their women talent half as well as AEW. Shit, even Impact has some better women's matches.
Yeah, it's true.
And I'm like, man, WWE, you've got some great talent.
WWE is too focused on men's singles wrestling.
Yes.
Way too focused on that.
I mean,
and I understand that is kind of the like that's almost like the main course, and it has been for decades. I get that. But look at companies like AEW who just dominate the tag team divisions.
Oh, yeah.
They just know how to do it. And the same with their women's division. It's way surpassing what WWE is doing.
Absolutely.
And they are still able to put a heavy focus on those men's singles division type stuff.
Completely agree. But that's where I'm talking about, like, and that's where the idea for the title of this segment came up was, they want to talk about, at least in WWE, this is the women's revolution. The women are paving the way. First off, yes. In the last 10, 11 years, women's wrestling has come a great distance from being bra and panties matches and stripping matches and all this stupid shit that was just like filler spots on TV to where like the women are actually getting focus. We've had 2 women now main event WrestleMania twice. We had our first like black woman versus black woman for the WWE Universal Championship. I mean, like, we're making fucking waves, people.
Absolutely.
And yet the WWE still puts the women back like 11 years sometimes because they can't get it right.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. We're like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. We haven't been putting proper focus on our women. Shit. Oh, man, let us fix our tag division. Shit. But, like, at some point, WWE is going to realize, like, you're cutting talent. And I get it. You're trying to save money. You're trying to save your company. But you are getting rid of talent that people want for talent that is clearly not wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to draw lines in the sand and point it out anymore because I beat this with the dead horse. But, god damn, listen to your fans once in a while.
Yeah.
The fans are trying to tell you who we want. And you're just like, fuck it. Nah, the Iconics, they're not good enough on TV. Let's get rid of them. Yeah. I mean, Mickie James? Who the fuck is Mickie James? She's gone.
Yeah, I guess the WWE not a fan of hardcore country.
Maybe not. Ruby Riott, who had a great push in the last 2 months that she was with the company.
Yep.
Fuck her. She'll find her field somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I mean, all this happens, and you replace all these women with other women that you've already got on roster, which is cool. But the one who you decided to keep that you had just rehired, and again, I'm not going to beat this with a dead horse again, but why? Why keep her above all the other women who have been making you money? The women who have been there during this revolution.
Yeah.
And she's one of the people who are going to set you back because fans legit hate her just as much as they do X-Pac.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is just my personal opinion. Like this, my opinion in no way reflects Josh. And I'm not trying to like swerve him into my thought process, but I do not care for Eva Marie. Is a person, I do not wish her harm in any way, but I will say that if like tomorrow morning I was to wake up and there was to be like a Eva Marie has like been in some tragic accident, she'll never compete again, I'm not going to shed a tear. I'm going to be like, oh, great, we can finally put somebody more talented on the main roster. Woo! But the thing is, I don't want to see her at all. I have no wants to be like, man, I wonder what they're going to do with Eva Marie and Dewdrop this week.
Yeah. I'd be way more interested to see Piper Niven than to see Eva Marie ever. You know what I mean? Like, do more with her. Get even like, I didn't like Eva Marie when she was there the first time. I was not happy when they said that they were going to bring her back. It's like, she has not shown any sort of real ability. Like she in my opinion, she has not progressed to where it's worth bringing her back.
No. And like I said, one of the things that really irritates me is like they split the Iconics and then instantly pretty much put Peyton Royce back into a tag team. And then Billy Kay's left to wander around being like, here's my headshot resume.
I mean, it was funny, but it was unnecessary.
I mean, there are women in this company begging for opportunity to the point where like they get so misused that they have no other choice but then to be like, hey, I came up with this other idea for a gimmick. Maybe it'll get me some TV time. Yeah. I'm talking about the new women's champion, Nikki Cross.
That's right.
I mean, let her be perfect example of somebody she has been with the company through thick and thin. You know, she was the Twisted Sister of Sanity. She was there through like all her NXT time. They bring her up to the main stage. She had a great debut. And then all of a sudden it's like, Nikki who? Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. We brought that girl up from NXT. Tag teamer with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, she disappeared for a while, just like there was nothing for her.
No.
And it was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. And then like, you know, she went through this whole huge transformation. Like she slimmed out, she played the WWE's game, she made herself like the WWE pretty girl. Yeah. And I hate to have to phrase it like that, but I mean, she went from being like,
it's a thing though. That's the problem. That's a big problem with WWE. It's a thing. And I have a feeling that's a reason why Ruby Riott was let go. Because she didn't conform to that. Well, I love Ruby Riott. She's fucking awesome.
She absolutely was.
But she didn't conform to that traditional WWE pretty girl bullshit.
No.
You know?
And it makes me wonder how much like of a shelf life then someone like Rhea Ripley has.
Yeah, I don't know. I think with Rhea, her size helps her.
Probably.
Because she's a beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Vince loves those fucking beasts. You know what I mean? Whether it's a man or a woman. I mean, there's a reason why Nia Jax still has a fucking job.
That's true.
You know? But it ain't her talent. Sorry, it's just not. But yeah, no, it's absolutely a fucking thing. And it's like I know that Nikki Cross asked for this gimmick change, I guess. And I'm glad that it's worked out for her. I was dead sure that she was going to be on the chopping block. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they hadn't been using her, and they had been cutting all these people for months. I was sure that she was going to be on the next like block of people, and then this happened. So I'm happy that she's got this going for her now.
I agree.
But just like the Hurricane, Rosie, what's the shelf life on a gimmick like this?
I mean, not to be that guy, Shane Helms is still doing the Hurricane gimmick. I mean,
and people love it. However, it was never taken as seriously
as it could have been,
or as all of these other wrestlers have been.
No, and even Shane has admitted like that gimmick can only run so far.
And I think his gimmick hit at just the right time.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it helps that guys like The Rock really put him over.
Yeah.
He had a great feud in 2003 with The Rock, and there was some good back and forth between the two of them. And then he evolved the gimmick a little bit too. It wasn't just the Hurricane at one point. It was the Hurricane and Rosie and the Hurricane and Mighty Molly.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, he was doing this shit as like Gregory Helms, ace reporter.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, he had a resurgence with that character.
Yeah. But the problem is comedy gimmicks don't typically last very long.
No, and you're absolutely correct.
So I worry for Nikki Cross.
I agree, but hopefully this can be a relaunch point for her.
Yeah.
Where she runs it as far as she can, and they can still get her out of it and do something else with her.
I hope so.
It's kind of like Bray Wyatt. Where would you take Bray Wyatt's character at this point? Because he's the crazy cult leader. He's done the weird shit. I mean, you can't turn him into a normal person at this point because it would really defeat everything you've done with him for 10 years.
Yeah, it really would. Yeah.
But I mean, we're not talking about Bray right now. We're talking about the women's revolution.
That's true.
And pretty much where I want to go with this, because we've been talking about this now for like 20 minutes. I kind of just want to ask you, do you think that there is a chance that we will ever see the women held in the regard that the men get held?
Like in WWE? No. I don't honestly believe that they'll ever be on equal footing with the men. The way it's ran, I just don't see it. Now, you never know. After Vince is gone, things may change. There may be a drastic change in the product after Vince is gone. I don't know. But as we stand right now, I just don't see it happening. And it's a shame. It really is.
Well, like I said, I think one of the first things that needs to change is you need to stop referring to the women's championships by brand. And it needs to be the WWE Women's Championship and the Universal Women's Championship. Yeah. That is exactly where I would start. Because all you're doing is telling your women they're not important. Yeah. I get the tag titles being referred to as by brand because, they're brand represented. But, I mean, you've seen, from both sides of the field, when Bray Wyatt had the Universal Championship, Bray Wyatt won it on Raw, went to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Changed the title from red to blue. I mean,
And here's what I have to say. I've seen people use the fact that the men's tag team titles are brand represented to bolster their points about why the women's should also be. It's well, the men's tag teams are. Why? What's the problem with the women's? But then my counter to that is, okay, well, if the women's are brand represented, why the fuck aren't the men's?
Yeah. And
because the WWE and the Universal, that doesn't mean brand. They could switch. They have switched. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, multiple times.
So why aren't the men's? Why isn't it the Raw the Raw World Championship, the SmackDown World Championship? Yeah. You know what I mean? Why aren't the women's being treated the same? Yeah. If you had two women's tag titles, sure, brand them.
Yeah,
go for it, but not their main heavyweight titles.
No. First off, and it's not even women have a mid-level championship to go for.
No,
men have every opportunity in this company. They've got the heavyweight championships.
There are 6 titles in the WWE, not including the 24/7 title. Yeah, because anybody can get that, and not including NXT titles. There are 6 that men can go for.
Yeah. Because you've got 2 heavyweight, you've got the 2 tag team,
and 2 mid titles,
and then you've got 2 mid card. It's like men have these opportunities. Women literally have 2 women's championships and the tag titles.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly believe that the women deserve a mid title.
I mean, it would be great for them.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it needs to be like a women's intercontinental championship. You could literally do something like,
I don't know.
This is going to sound bad, but like a powderweight championship.
I wouldn't call it something like that, but
I mean, you could literally do anything. You could make a championship for just like,
who knows? Whatever. You could do whatever with it. You could give it any sort of weird name. I don't care, but I feel like it should happen. Personally.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, and this has been bugging me for weeks, months, and I really wanted the opportunity to really voice it because I'm tired of watching the women get shit on. I'm tired of the women. They're given these opportunities, and I'm like, you're not giving them opportunities though, because yes, where we might have just had like 2 women fight at WrestleMania for the Universal Women's Championship. Okay, yes, they main evented. Yes, they're 2 black women. I get it,
but they main evented on the first night. It's not so like when you look at WrestleMania, the 2 nights combined, they essentially were the mid match.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Between the 2 total.
Yeah.
Yes, they main evented that night, but they were not the final match.
No. And the thing is too, that match also happened in front of a no crowd.
Yeah.
Like there was like some of the spectators in there and stuff, like the people who like were around the ring.
It's nothing like what it is. It's nothing like what it is like currently.
No. I mean, I'm really glad that the crowds are back. Like they're starting to have crowds back.
Yeah.
But like if you would have had Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair in front of an actual fucking crowd, that place would have fucking erupted. Because that match was fucking money.
Dude, it was.
That match was fucking... Honestly, I'm going to put that in my contender for match of the year.
Yeah, dude, that match was fucking tight.
When I first heard that match was happening, I was like, whatever. And then I watched that match, and I was like, holy fuck. These women are like Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns, like curtain jerked. And I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And then I saw, Bianca versus Sasha, and I was like, God damn. That is a match.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. It was something else.
But I guess the point that I'm really just trying to drive home is that if WWE wants to claim that they're having a women's revolution, then you really need to step your fucking game up, and you need to let these women actually be who they are, let them do what they're fucking doing, and actually give them a platform to fucking have their moments. Stop having fucking men write their storylines and their promos, and let them have some fucking freedom.
Yeah.
Have yourself a Queen of the Ring tournament. You don't even have to call it Queen of the Ring because, it is what it is. But
I think that's a perfectly good name, though. Because you have King of the Ring. True. Why the fuck not have a Queen of the Ring?
But I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, there is no equality in that aspect. And I know I'm hammering this in there hard. It's the same with the championships. You're telling me you respect these women as your fucking champions of your company, but it's the Raw Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship. That is not showing them respect.
No.
Call them what they deserve to be called. The WWE Women's Champion, which is what it is actually called.
Yeah.
And the Universal Women's Championship.
Yep.
It's not that fucking hard. It's really either that or start calling your men by their brands too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would love to meet Bobby Lashley right now and spit in his face and be like, "You're the Raw Men's Champion, asshole." And I would fucking take that shot.
Yeah.
And when he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'd be like, "Well, if the women have to be represented by their brands, so do you."
All right, sir.
And that's my let me tell you something, brother.
That is a hell of a let me tell you something, brother. I gotta admit, wasn't sure what to expect from that, but
I'm really heated up now.
Yeah, well, I hope you stay heated because we got another topic to talk about.
I know, and this one I'm really excited for too. But I'm going to let you take a little bit of a lead on this one because I already told you, kind of off screen, what I wanted to go with this one. Yeah. So I kind of want to see your thoughts on this one.
All right. So as you can see, our next topic: Sami Callihan, the savior Impact needs, not the one they deserve.
Yeah, when you brought this topic to me, I was like, this is really interesting, because I feel like over the years, Sami Callihan has really been underestimated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as we have seen recently, Impact has been doing stuff with him.
I mean, they're trying.
He had that match at Slammiversary that we'll talk about a little bit later. And he has a very specific type of attitude that I like. And yeah, I think he would be a great kind of mouthpiece, for lack of a better word, for Impact to kind of get it to a level that it needs to be at.
Agreed.
But yeah, I'm real interested to hear your thoughts because I know this was a topic. Like, this was the first topic you brought to me.
Yeah,
and I'm super interested to hear.
Like the Women's Revolution one, this one kind of fires me up. Not to the level of the Women's Revolution, but so without spoiling a lot of the things that happened at Slammiversary, I'm going to talk about Sami Callihan's run in Impact on a weird way.
Because we'll spoil that shit later.
Yeah, we will. So Sami Callihan obviously had a run in WWE, and it didn't work. And he took some time off, and he came over to Impact Wrestling. He started OVE. Do you actually know what OVE stands for?
I don't remember, to be totally honest.
Ohio versus everyone.
Okay.
Now, I found out Sami Callihan's actually married to somebody that me and you both know from the wrestling world. Okay. He's married to fellow Impact star Jessica Havoc.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, that being said, hi, Jess. I hope you're actually paying attention to our podcast.
That would be awesome.
She probably isn't. She probably doesn't even fucking remember us. But that's cool, too. Sami Callihan is a wrestler who can perform on levels most people can't. He's untouchable in his promos. His in-ring style is not your cookie-cutter style. Yeah. And we all know what happened with Eddie Edwards. It was a fucking horrific accident, but they turned that into an amazing storyline, and that elevated Sami Callihan to a level of heel that had never really been touched since like Hogan in 96, 97. And I think it's an interesting concept because so many people are like, yeah, Sami Callihan's okay, but he's not like, eh. And then they started doing this angle with Kenny Omega and the whole belt collector, and he beat Moose.
Oh, yeah.
He became the TNA champion, and he beat Rich Swann, and now he's got the Impact Championship. Yeah. And it's like, who can beat the belt collector? And up until a few weeks ago, because we've been trying to put this episode together for a couple months, at least a month.
It's been like 3 weeks was when we were supposed to do this, like 3 weeks ago.
So like this is being recorded in like pieces, which Josh is gonna like Freddy Krueger together. It is what it is. If this is a choppy episode, we apologize, but it's a Frankenstein and we get it. But
hey man, Frankensteins need love too.
When I came up with this idea, Sami Callihan hadn't actually been announced yet as the contender for Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
It happened like a couple days afterwards, and I was like, oh shit, I'm actually on to something.
Yeah.
And I reached out to you and was like, well, what do you think about this match? And what do you think about this topic for Off the Ropes? And it's because Sami Callihan is the kind of guy who could beat Kenny Omega and bring the championships back to Impact. And he can carry the championships because he's not your cookie cutter wrestler. Yeah. He's not the Rich Swans. He's not the Moose. He's not Eddie Edwards. He's different from all those guys. And that's what sets him apart from all the other people in the locker room. But at the same time, really look at the Impact roster right now from like what it was in like 06, 07. There isn't anybody on the roster right now who can step up to Kenny Omega who has the name and the charisma pretty much that can match Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
And I sat for a couple days and really thought about this. Unless you're going to do like Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann for like the fourth time.
That's why I worry. This is jumping back to what we talked about in Breaking Kayfabe. I worry that like it'll be D-Bry or CM Punk. And I'm like, I love them both, and I wouldn't mind seeing them, but like, I don't want that to be the story.
But at the same time, though, that's AEW. We're focused like the other side of that with like Impact.
I know, but Kenny Omega is on AEW. Is what I'm saying. Like, yeah. I don't want like I fear that one of them will dethrone Kenny Omega, and I'm like, I don't want that to be the story.
Well, so far AEW has done a really good job with not main eventing like the WWE guys right away.
It's true,
except for Harper and or Brody, and that was a different story. And I'm glad he got the push he did when he did, because sadly, he's not here with us anymore.
Yeah.
Sami Callihan, though, is a whole different ballpark, though. Like, he's not those traditional guys. He doesn't wrestle in typical gear. He comes to the ring wearing a vest and jeans, and he's wearing boots, and he kicks people's asses. Like, he's a fucking brute.
Yeah.
But there's not many guys in TNA right now, Impact, that can keep up with, like, the level of Sami Callihan either.
Yeah.
And that's what shocked me about Slammiversary. When I actually heard they were fighting at Slammiversary, I was like, fucking A. And then Slammiversary happens, and without going into extreme detail, Sammy lost. And I was like, fuck. It's like, well, I thought he was going to be the guy. Like, he's the champ we need right now.
I will say this, though, man. Motherfucker put on a hell of a match.
Hell of a match.
Yeah.
But it's what happened afterwards, and we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
That makes me believe it's not over 100% yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna see more of Sami Callihan, and I think you're right. I think that he may be Impact Savior. You know what I mean?
There's not many guys who can touch what he brings.
Yeah.
Like, when he talks, there's a passion in his words.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of like a dirty version of 2007 Chris Jericho.
Oh, interesting.
Like Chris Jericho, when he changed up his gimmick, he went from being the guy, when he talked, he was passionate. He was like, you'll never. He slowed down what he said. He stretched out his words. He became monotone. And I can almost see a small reflection of that in Sami Callihan.
Yeah.
But it's like a dirty street version where, like, he's the guy who you see outside of wrestling. You're like, is this guy going to fucking, like, beat my ass and leave me there? Or is
yeah,
he change my tire on my car? Like, let me put my wallet inside the car and lock the doors before he changes my tire. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's who Sami Callihan is. I mean, that's what I love about him. I love the fact that he's not John Cena. He's not fucking Bret Hart. He's not Yokozuna. He's not Owen Hart. He's not those guys from yesteryear. Mm-hmm. He's a different breed. And I think that's what attracts me to, like, wrestlers like that. And I can get behind them because I'm like, that could be me. Like,
yeah. No, absolutely. I 100% get what you're saying there. And, I hope that that Impact knows what they're doing with him.
Probably not, but
like I said, I hope. But I also hope that they know what they're doing with this crossover.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things me and you've talked about as well with this crossover is, like, it's focused with spotlight on, like, one group of people right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, like, Sami Callihan got some spotlight out of this. Adam Page has gotten some spotlight out of this on, like, the AEW side of things. But this is pretty much focused on the elite right now.
Yeah.
And the people who consider themselves to be the two suites.
Yeah.
The Bullet Clubs.
Yep.
And we'll get back into that talk when we start talking about Slammiversary. So.
But yeah. Crazy stuff, but we'll see what happens in the future.
Help us, Sami Callihan. You're our only hope.
All right. So, our next topic here, I think will be an interesting one. SummerSlam or Summer Flop. What's going to happen next month when it comes to this pay-per-view? We've got pretty much, I don't know if they've actually been confirmed fully, but we've essentially got two matches set for this thing.
Yeah, we do.
And that is Roman Reigns and John Cena, Bobby Lashley, and Goldberg.
Oh, we got a third one then too, man.
What's the third one?
Edge and Rollins.
Oh, yeah. Edge and Rollins. You're right. So, John, what do you think do you think it'll be a slam or a flop.
I'm holding my cards in hand on this one currently, which is not like me. First off, welcome back to John Cena.
Yeah, man.
I'm not the most happy that he's back right now, but I get it.
I'm more happy that he's back than Goldberg.
I'm not happy Goldberg.
I like Goldberg, but like his time is done.
Well, it is, but you realize why they're doing these moves right now, then, right? They're losing ticket sales to AEW. They're trying to bring back what they can right now to get ticket money.
I mean, I get that. They want a sold out SummerSlam crowd. They want to give them something big. The problem is, like, why did you need both? Like, because I don't know.
They needed big names to go up against both champions for the draw.
I guess. I don't know.
But here's the thing, though.
How much are they paying Goldberg? You know what I mean? Is it really worth the money?
There's no build up to this match. Like, it's just he comes out and he's like, "Oh, I'm next." Like John Cena. John Cena's been gone for a year, almost 2.
Yeah, he his last one was WrestleMania 36.
So yeah, so he's been gone for like 2 years, and it's like, hey, John, you don't just get to come back and be in the title picture, bro. There are a lot of other guys who are deserving of that shot right now. And granted, I love that his most recent promo, he referenced the whole Bray Wyatt Funhouse horror match.
Yeah.
And don't think, John, I didn't notice that when you came out at Money in the Bank, you didn't flash a little NWO sign. But I will tell you this. You ain't Bullet Club, and you ain't wearing black and white. So you stop putting up that too sweet before I fucking buy a ticket, come to a show, and jump the guardrail like a crazy fucking fan and curb stomp your fucking ass.
Maybe he's starting something new. He's the NWO green and white. What?
Oh, fuck that. Fuck that. You're not even cool enough to put up the too sweet John Cena. So you fuck yourself with a hot curling iron.
He's the thug pack.
Yeah, he's something. I think SummerSlam has potential to fill out and be a great card.
Okay.
Potential. At this current time, with what we're seeing, I don't have faith, man. A lot of fans. I was reading an article today that said they've already pulled Goldberg from a couple of dates because they don't think he's gonna work out. And I'm like, okay, but are we gonna pull the whole storyline then and then put somebody else in Goldberg's place? Because that would be great.
How about this? You have Bobby Lashley retain. Okay. Him and Goldberg put on a good show, hopefully. He retains. And then just have fucking Big E come out, cash in, and take the title. Boom.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd be totally down with that.
I would. I mean, that would make a lot of sense. Or maybe Goldberg does like the quick splash in the pan, where like, oh my god, like boom, there's the spear, boom, there's the jackhammer. MVP interferes, and like that's the moment where like Lashley cheats to get the upper hand, and he beats Goldberg somehow that way, and then Big E comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be totally down with that. Obviously, I don't see John Cena winning this match. I think that he'll put on a damn good match with Roman, but I just don't think that Cena's going to be the one to dethrone the head of the table. I just don't see it.
I really hope not.
The tribal chief ain't going down to John Cena.
Because if he beats Roman, not only does he take the head of the table away from him, he also beats being tied with Ric Flair as a 16-time world champion.
Exactly. And I don't think they're ever going to do it.
I'm hoping not. I will say this.
I just don't see it.
If John Cena wins, I think you're going to see the 06 heat come back. When he stepped foot into ECW and everybody turned on him in Philadelphia that night.
He started throwing shit at him? They started throwing shit at him?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think you will see that level of hatred come back for Cena because honestly, as much as people hate Roman right now because, he's the head of the table and he's the bad guy, this is the most the fans have loved him in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's hated, but he's loved.
Yeah.
And it's so fucked up because this is what it took to make fans really respect Roman Reigns.
Yeah. And Cena's split in the fans, really.
Yeah.
There's a love and there's a hate. But I guarantee you, if he beats Flair's record, a lot of those that love him will turn on him.
Yeah. I mean, first off, Cena's good, but he's not 17-time world champion good.
Yeah.
And like a lot of those championships were back and forth, like really quick with like his feud with Edge
And Randy Orton.
with Orton, and like yeah. So I mean, like Flair's are like stretched out over his entire career.
Yeah.
That's 16 times. Not like, oh man, I won 7 world championships in like 07 because I was fucking running rampant.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I agree. I have a feeling we're gonna see a women's triple threat. I really think it's gonna be Nikki, Charlotte, and Rhea. Because
I'm okay with that.
You know, Rhea is not done with Charlotte. Charlotte is going to want her title back.
Yep.
Rhea is going to feel like that title should be hers. I just have I have a feeling that we're going to see that at SummerSlam. I don't know if there's going to be any stipulation to it at all, but
I think we're also going to see a
so.
WrestleMania rematch at SummerSlam.
Which one?
Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks. Sasha
Okay.
Banks hasn't been seen on TV since Mania.
Okay.
So think about that.
Did she get injured? I don't honestly.
No, she just wanted some time off.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know, she was doing some shit outside of the WWE.
Yeah.
But it's about that time for her to be coming back, and what a way to bring her back. Have her come back and be like, I've taken some time off. I want a rematch.
So that's a handful of matches. Outside of those that we've talked about, are there any other matches that you would like to see?
Absolutely.
What would you?
I would love to see the Viking Raiders get another tag team opportunity against AJ and Omos.
Okay.
I know the Bloodline right now has all the championships over on SmackDown. You know, they've got the Universal and they've got the tag team titles.
Okay.
So I would kind of like to. I don't want to see Ray and Dominic in the title picture anymore. Kind of tired of them already. Mm-hmm. But maybe Street Profits get a tag team title shot against the Usos.
Yeah, man. Where have they been? Really? Like, what have they been?
They made a return on SmackDown.
Okay.
Sadly, they had a live performance of their theme. Crowd fucking no react.
That's this one, man. I love the Street Profits.
I like the Street Profits, and like they've really grown on me. Like when I'm at work, our drink cooler, it's got Solo cups on top of it. And every night when I take a Solo cup off the thing and I turn it over, the first thing that I think is, we want the smoke.
Yeah, man. I think I like that idea. I'd like to see them kind of get more, like start getting back into that picture again.
I'm also not opposed to like multi-person matches at this point. Like, give me a triple threat. Give me a fatal 4-way. Fuck, why not bring back a championship scramble at this point?
Yeah. Yeah. What about, because Finn Balor got called up, correct? Right? We talked about that. What about like him and Sammy?
Well, I don't know exactly what happened on SmackDown, but apparently he called out Roman.
Really?
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen. At least not.
I mean,
not right away.
He has some claims to the championship, man.
But it ain't gonna happen at SummerSlam.
No, not at SummerSlam at all.
And I feel like if he wants to prove that he's ready for that level, then he needs to get some wins, some big wins under his belt.
Sammy's the one he beat up on his return to SmackDown. I think Sammy would be a great place to start. Yeah. Especially because Sami Callihan. Sami Zayn has great potential to be like an elevator, man. Like,
man.
He's in his own rights, like he's good.
And I don't want to see Sammy and Kevin Owens again, so let's do something different here.
Also, I'm gonna propose a match to you. It brings up some NXT talent, but for a reason. So we bring up LA Knight for one night and one night only for SummerSlam.
Okay. And
he defends the $1 Million Championship against Virgil.
Okay. I mean,
Virgil took some shots at him in a recent interview and said that, LA Knight has no claims on that championship and that Virgil could take him still and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you know what? Virgil in his own rights was at one point $1 million champion, so...
What if, now this is a huge one, and I don't know if he's doing something somewhere else. What if DiBiase Jr. came back?
There's rumors that he's going to come back.
And maybe Virgil comes with him as his manager.
I hope not. I really hope. Honestly,
I mean, I don't either, but it would feed into that social media.
I've heard very strong rumors, and this is one of those ones that obviously doesn't get reported on much because it's NXT and it is what it is. That once the Cameron Grimes / LA Knight storyline ends, that's when you could see Ted DiBiase come back and be like, that's my family's championship. I'm here for it.
I would love to see that, man. I don't know what he's been doing for the last few years, but
I think he's been just doing family life, man.
I mean, if he wants to get back in, I think that's a perfect way to bring him back in.
I know it's kind of off topic because I like talking wrestling with you, but you know who I really miss in wrestling currently, and I didn't really think about it the other day until I saw some old video footage.
Who?
And that's Bo Dallas.
Dude, man, I enjoyed him. I enjoyed him quite a bit.
I enjoyed him as the Bo Leave gimmick. I know a lot of people hated it. I liked the Bo Leave gimmick, and then when they did the Social Outcast, and it was him and Curtis Axel and Adam Rose was in there.
He's got so much potential.
Yeah,
to do something great.
Well, right now he's doing real estate. That's what he's doing away from the ring. And I'm like, well, good for him. He found life outside of wrestling, and apparently him and Liv Morgan studied for the real estate license together.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm like, I mean, that's awesome, but I miss him. And I miss Adam Rose, man. I didn't think about it until the other day. I was doing something at work, and someone was like, "You want a lemon head?" And I was like, "I don't fucking like lemon heads." I'm like, "I'd rather be a rosebud." And I was like, and then I thought about it, and I was like, remember that time me and you met Adam Rose and he checked out Sherry?
Yeah, dude, that was hilarious. Dude, he was cool, man. I liked him. He was so cool. Oh, man. Yeah, they unfortunately, this is kind of going back to something I said earlier. WWE doesn't know how to work comedy gimmicks.
No.
No, and they were both really fun comedy gimmicks.
Yeah,
that WWE they tried, but they just don't know how to do anything of substance with those types of characters. Unfortunately,
no. Well, especially because Adam Rose would have been an easy fix. He's the fun-loving whatever guy. He's the I'd rather be partying. All they would have had to have done was have him cut a promo where he's like, sometimes I guess the party has to stop and you just have to kick some ass. And he could have become more of a serious role.
Yeah.
He's not coming out with the party entourage and shit like that. He can still be the guy who comes out and he's like, but the moment
I would have probably switched it to almost like a hard grunge gimmick.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Yeah, just have him completely switch. And they could have easily done that.
And I think when it comes to Bo Dallas, I loved the Bo Leave gimmick. That was a great gimmick for him. Their approach at it was a little off, and I think that's where they missed the mark on him. And I think
honestly, what should have happened with him is what AEW did with Brody. He had that Bo Leave gimmick.
Yeah,
that could have easily transferred into a cult gimmick, and it could have tied into his family lineage with Bray Wyatt.
Yes,
and it would have been fucking brilliant.
But see, and that's where I would have went a different way. Instead of tying it to Bray in some way with the cult thing, I would have had Bray be Bo's savior.
Oh, okay.
The gimmick started to fizzle. They knew they were having problems. So what did they do? They pulled him out of that and they fucking threw him into the Social Outcasts.
Yeah.
I would have had Bray do a promo where the Social Outcasts were in the ring and he could have come out and been like, Brother Bo, come with me. Let me open the door for you to opportunities. And he could have just fucking elevated his brother. But instead, WWE's like, fuck family. Mm-hmm. We'll just do what we've done with Matt and Jeff 1,000 times and not even acknowledge it.
Dude, it would have been I don't know what the fuck they AEW would have then wound up doing with Brody, because it would have been so similar in that, you know what I mean? So I doubt that they would have gone that route, but that gimmick, that Exalted One gimmick, would have been perfect for Bo.
Yeah.
Instead of the social outcast stuff that they did.
Agreed.
But
no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think one of the other big ones that I think they missed an opportunity with for a long time was Curtis Axel. Like, he's a second generation superstar who had potential. Like, and it seems like with the second generation people, they always either really hit it good or they just are like, we're going to make you like a rip-off version of your parents.
Yes.
And they tried with him, but they didn't give it the right spin. Like, they tried to make him better than Mr. Perfect. And that's where they fucked up. Because it was like imperfect perfection. And I'm like, fuck that. No, you really lean into this whole, like, he thinks he's like, his dad shot all those vignettes years ago where, like, he would throw the basketball behind him and it was a swish.
Throw the gum or spit the gum, smack it.
And like he threw the football and then he's running down the field and he catches it and he bowls the perfect 300.
Yeah.
The opportunity should have been he starts doing those same vignettes and they're fucked up. Like, he throws the basketball behind him and it misses and he's like, perfect shot. He does the perfect bowl, but every one of them is like a fucking gutter ball. And he's like, I'm perfect, and you'll be perfect too. And like, but you know.
Yeah, like he throws the ball, the bowling, and then he turns around so he never sees it.
Yeah.
He never sees what happens. Dude, that would have been brilliant.
Like, he throws the football and he goes running and he trips. And he gets up and he's like, I caught that. Like,
like
touchdown.
I'm perfect. Dude, no, seriously, that would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Especially, I would have loved the basketball one, though, because he's just like, he's looking at the camera, he's just like, and it clearly misses. He's like, perfect shot.
They do that exact scene in, I don't know if you've watched this movie, Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
No.
They literally do that. I think it's in the trailer. But yeah, like Andy Samberg does that and it misses, but like his entourage are like, oh yeah, like making him think he got it. Yeah. But no, that would have been actually a really like smart way to go about that.
This is the shit I think about. I mean, think of the roster we could have right now. Had people like Curtis Axel never tanked out. Had Bo Dallas never tanked out. If Adam Rose, granted, Adam Rose left wrestling for a whole different reason.
Yeah.
He took care of his family and shit. That's way more respectable, and I get that.
That's true.
But like people like Brody got misused, and Eric Rowan got misused, and you know, what the fuck is Dolph Ziggler doing anymore?
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Tag teaming with Bobby Roode, like.
Yeah. But back to the topic: SummerSlam, Summer Flop. Hey, maybe we'll see Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode at SummerSlam.
Maybe. I mean, why are they not fighting for tag team championships?
Exactly. You know, we could see that. So
I did not mean to get way off.
No, it's cool, dude. It was a great convo. What is your final say? SummerSlam or Summer Flop? What do you think?
I'm gonna go SummerSlam. I think that they're gonna try with the live crowd being like the first big of the four. Wow. Of the first big four that we've got the crowds back, I think they're really going to try and give it their all this year.
Yeah,
I'm going to say thumbs up this year.
All right, 2 for me as well. I'm optimistic, is what it is. I'm optimistic
when it comes to WWE.
Hopeful that SummerSlam will be good. And speaking of slams, John, it's time for us to get into some pay-per-view results here. Yeah. We had some big events over the last couple of weeks. And so let's get into it. We're going to start off with Slammiversary.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now, you guys know we're not doing like full reviews of pay-per-views anymore.
No.
Because neither Josh or I watched the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But like, we're going to talk about...
I don't have the ability to watch Impact pay-per-views. I don't.
That's true. Neither do I. But I mean, that doesn't stop us from liking some of the product. Obviously, there's a lot of news going on about Slammiversary. Let's get into some of the important Slammiversary things.
Absolutely.
What is the first thing you would like to talk about Slammiversary?
I'll be honest.
A lot of returns at Slammiversary.
There were a lot of returns. But the thing I kind of want to talk about before any of the actual returns is that fucking Ultimate X match.
Dude, I didn't really get to see the highlights of the Ultimate X match, but I heard it was phenomenal.
Dude, they did some awesome shit in that match. And I like, as somebody who watched, I mean, you and I both watched TNA back in the day.
Yep.
Like, I remember the first Ultimate X match. Like, I remember being like watching that stuff. And so the fact that it's still around, it just made me happy. And I don't watch Impact very often. It's rare that I watch Impact. But knowing that this match is still around, still a thing, I was like, man, that's awesome. Yeah, because it was one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite things.
I think it's definitely one of the things TNA got right.
Yeah,
like that is an innovative match, no matter what.
I mean, I wish they still had a 6-sided ring in it, because that would have been all that was awesome too. Unfortunately, they do not have that. But this match, there was all kinds of stuff going on in this match. I know that you had mentioned this spot to me, but I couldn't picture it in my head until I saw it, and it was this what I refer to now as a submission chain. From I don't even know who was in what order. Somebody was hanging from the from the ropes up top, had another person in a submission, and then everyone else was just like locked in subsequent submissions. And I was like, holy fuck, man. Yeah. Like, this is nuts. And just the sheer power of these guys to be able to do the Ultimate X. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. That takes a lot of strength.
Yeah, to shimmy their way there with seemingly no effort, really. It was fantastic to see again. I haven't seen an Ultimate X anything in a long time, personally.
Ultimate X has always been impressive to me because of that exact reason. These men have to go across steel cable to get to a fucking either the X or the championship, and it's like they make, like you said, they make it look effortlessly. And I'm like, I'd fucking fall. Like, you have to go out there that shit while shimmying yourself. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'll sit on the ground. You drop the title to me.
Dude, somebody was, shimmying, right? Another dude climbed onto his back, and it was like a backpack. I'm just like, and he still held himself. The other guy slid off. And, I'm just like, fuck, man. I would never. No. I'm looking at that. I'm just like, I could never do that. Not in a million years. Oh, man. But, so, some results. That match was great. We saw Josh Alexander defeat Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Petey Williams, Rohit Raju, and Trey Miguel. Yeah, for the Impact X Division Championship.
Woo!
Yeah. He was the champion going in, so he retained. So, yeah, good for... I don't know who... I'll be honest. I don't know who Josh Alexander is.
He was the guy who was teamed with Ethan Page.
Okay. I just don't really know. Like, because I don't know a lot about Impact. But the stuff that I saw in the match from the clips that I was watching, I was impressed. All right, So I can't speak to his previous stuff, but we did get it. There was apparently a pre-show match. I watched some of it. It was Decay, which is Havoc and Rosemary, defeating Fire and Flava, which is Kira Hogan and Tasha Steelz. So they
knockout championships.
Yeah, so they won the championships because Fire and Flava were the champs going into that. So from what I saw, it was a good match. I didn't watch, I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but it was pretty solid. Then after they opened the actual show with that Ultimate X, which I think is a smart idea because we always talk about pace setters. You know what I mean?
Pace setter indeed.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a perfect pace setter. Then we had the intergender tag team match of Brian Myers and Tennille Dashwood versus Matt Cardona and a mystery partner.
Oh, yeah.
So this was, I don't think there was a return before this in the night. So no. I think this was the first return of the night. You want to talk about this one a little bit?
Sure.
I know you liked it because we talked about this before.
Because I thought this was a great it's a return / kind of debut actually, and I love it because Matt Cardona, Brian Myers been going back and forth for months. The former best friends angle.
Yeah.
The you're jealous of me, and then Tennille Dashwood inserts herself with Brian Myers, and I'm like, so who the fuck are they going to debut with Matt Cardona? And I'm like, this is a fucking like mystery for me. Like, I'm like, are they gonna go with the obvious route, or are they gonna fucking twist this with like CJ Perry, the former Lana? Could it be like a Ruby Riott? Could it be one of the Iconics? But no, they went with the obvious route, which, like I said, I think it's for the better because of what got announced afterwards. But it was the returning the hot mess. Well, she used to be Laurel Van Ness. Now she's going by her actual name, Chelsea Green. It's Matt Cardona's wife. Yeah. I'm like, fucking A. I'm like, and she looked good.
And it was funny because she comes out, right? And everyone's like cheering and all this stuff. The crowd fucking popped like crazy. Matt goes to like give her a fist bump, and she's like throws his hand aside and just like makes out with him right there on the top of the. I was like,
apparently wasn't supposed to happen. Apparently, Impact management got mad at that.
I thought it was hilarious.
I'm like, support it, like fucking
yeah, man. Like lean into that kind of shit. I thought it was great.
I thought it was great as well because he totally went for the fist bump. And she's like, nah, fuck that.
And then, I love the hot mess gimmick.
I love the hot mess gimmick too. She toned down the hair, I noticed, on Impact. So like instead of it being like half messed up, half nice, she came out with like her hair actually done, kind of. Yeah. I'm like, you don't need to look like a hot mess to be a hot mess. Like, have you never seen a woman without coffee in your system? Because like,
I mean, fuck, man, you wake me up in the morning. I'm a hot mess every day.
However, it was one of the things she said when she was coming to the ring that made me laugh. And she goes, "I'm fucking back, baby. Yeah."
Nice.
And I was like, good for her. I mean, she's happy, obviously, to, still have an opportunity in wrestling.
And she gets to work with her husband.
Yeah, and in that, too. When you get to go to work with your husband every day, you can't ask for anything better.
And I have a hard time believing that she's not close to Brian. You know what I mean? Like,
Matt and Brian are obviously great friends. They still run their podcast and everything together.
Yeah.
They're still doing their wrestling figures and shit like that. So
So I feel like being able to work that match together was probably just all around just a cool experience for them.
It had to have been, man. Like, it's Slammiversary. That's Impact Wrestling's WrestleMania. You're working with friends. You're out there having fun, and you got to do a return to like the company that gave you your break. Yeah. Like, come on. You can't ask for anything better than that.
It's true.
And then, like, her and Matt look strong in that match, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Matt and Chelsea defeated Brian and Tennille. And nothing on the line, but
no,
it was a good match overall. Then we got a singles match, W. Morrissey and Eddie Edwards. W. Morrissey defeated Eddie Edwards, but dude, Eddie Edwards put on a fucking hell of a fight, man.
Now, do you recognize W. Morrissey at least?
He looked really familiar, I'll be honest.
Big ass.
Okay. I was like, I know this dude from somewhere.
Yeah, it's
I couldn't pinpoint it. Okay, that's totally. But like,
he looks fucking great.
He does, man. He looks fantastic.
This is after that mental breakdown he had like 6 months ago.
Yeah,
or a little bit longer. But yeah, he made a debut in Impact. Man, he looked fucking cut.
Yeah, man. And dude, he fucking choke slammed Eddie Edwards onto the from the outside onto the ring apron. Oh, it was sick. It was sick, and but yeah, it was a match. Like that match lasted longer than I would have thought. Like it's like the third longest match of the night, and there were 9 matches. Yeah, it was 11 minutes. I was like, okay, wow, all right. And Eddie Edwards put on a hell of a show from the stuff that I saw out of it. All right, so the next one we have the returning Finn Juice, David Finlay and Juice Robinson. David, I didn't know Finley's kid was wrestling. I didn't. Yeah. Like, I was like David Finlay. It's like, is that any relation to Fit Finlay? And I click on his name. I was like, oh well, fucking A.
I totally found out today as well that was his son. I was like, oh shit! I was like, that's awesome.
So yeah, so they came back. I think they returned.
Yeah.
Everybody was saying like, welcome back, and defeated Madman Fulton and Shera, and in 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Yeah. Fucking squash.
Yeah. Apparently, FinJuice was there representing New Japan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what
that agreement, man.
That's what commentary said. So I have to take them at their word. But yeah, so minute and 15 though. Hey, I guess that's a good return. It doesn't look good for.
You can't prepare for an opponent.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for the other people, but hey, looks good on FinJuice. Then we got Chris Sabin defeating Moose. You have any thoughts on that one? I mean, I like Chris Sabin.
I like Chris Sabin too. I miss.
I've been a Chris Sabin fan since TNA, since when it was TNA.
Oh yeah, dude,
back in the day.
So for those of you who don't know, when Josh and I first started like living together, Impact. Well, it was TNA back then, but TNA was really just kind of making a name for themselves.
This was what, 04?
Yeah, it was like 04, 05.
Yeah, and TNA started in what, 02. So TNA had only been around a couple of years at the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they'd been around, but they'd only been around like long enough to really.
We started watching when they still had a 6-sided ring.
That is true. And I remember like we were like, what is this company? And then we were like, oh my God, there's so and so.
Yeah.
And so and so. And we were introduced to guys we'd never heard of, like AJ Styles. Even Daniels. Though like, I had seen him previously on WCW, but I didn't remember him. Abyss.
Christopher Daniels.
Daniels.
I love that guy. He's awesome.
I mean, it was nice to see yesteryear wrestlers like Jeff Jarrett. And, you had your Jeff Hardys over there. And, and then you still get like new wrestlers that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
So for us to be able to say like guys like Chris Sabin are still in the business, it's awesome. Yeah. Because, that's 11 years ago, 12 years ago. Like, that's a while.
Yeah. Well, actually, probably even more, like 15, 16 years ago from when we were watching. Yeah.
And, I mean, this is after Chris Sabin suffered a double ACL tear. And, like,
yeah.
I mean, ACL Terry.
ACL Terry. So then we got a 4-way tag team match for the Impact World Tag Team Championships.
Which saw a debut.
Yes, it did. Of No Way, formerly known as No Way Jose.
Yeah, I love that they just dropped the Jose.
Did you watch the actual like return video, like when he came out? Video? Like, I don't honestly know who was introducing him, but okay. But he says No Way Jose. He says the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious because I was like, wait, I didn't think they were calling him that over here. And then the where it shows the name at the bottom just says No Way. I was like, oh, okay.
So the weird thing I thought about it was because like I saw the hype package that like he was there.
Yeah.
He's No Way. I was like, what? He did that whole emo video though after WWE released him where like his hair wasn't all poofed up, it was down, and it was the black and white video, and he's like something Valadins or something like that.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm like, what happened to that?
Yeah, I don't know, but I guess they wanted to lean into his old gimmick. You know what I mean?
I mean, and it's funny because it's one of those things where I mean they're technically allowed to do it because he's copying some mannerisms and shit, but they're not calling him No Way Jose. Exactly.
So the Good Brothers defeated Violent by Design, which is Joe Doering and Rhino, Rich Swann and Willie Mack, and Fala Ba and No Way.
Fala Bala.
Well, it just says Bahh, so I didn't know how to pronounce that. So sorry guys out there. This dude, cool. But Good Brothers, of course, the Good Brothers.
Well, but it's building towards the angle that the elite are getting all the gold. Yeah,
because Violent by Design was the champion, and so like they were the champions at the time.
Yeah.
Good Brothers winning the championships to
I'm looking
solidify
at the picture of Young Bucks have the AEW tag titles, the Good Brothers have the Impact titles. And then Kenny has both the heavyweights,
Yeah.
they're building up a repertoire of everybody having the gold, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. And then we got a singles match for the Knockouts Championship. Deonna Purrazzo defeated Thunder Rosa. However, that's not the interesting part. John, tell them about what happened after the match.
Well, after the match, we saw yet another return.
Yes, we did.
That of the one and the only, Josh brought her up earlier, Miss Hardcore Country herself, Mickie James.
Yeah, buddy. Dude, she looked good. Too, man.
It's funny because right now she's in a partnership with NWA.
Okay.
So, like, she's representing NWA in this whole angle.
Okay.
And she came out on Impact. I don't exactly know who she was representing, but she's talking about bringing people in from NWA to start fighting for Deonna Purrazzo's title.
Okay, so it seems like what we're getting here is this crossover really heating up.
Finally,
it's really what it seems like to me. So that could get me. That could really get me to, because like when the crossover started, I watched for a few weeks, but then it just seemed like it wasn't going really anywhere. It was like, it's just this one thing, and that's it. And so I kind of just
about that too, how it's really only benefited Kenny and the Elite. It hasn't really done anything for anybody else.
Yeah, but like, if they're bringing New Japan in, they're getting NWA in. I might start checking it because, like, I can watch it for free on fucking Twitch. So like, I might start getting back to watching it if they're actually gonna start doing these crossover type things like that, because I think that'd be fascinating.
Do what you got to do, man. I get it.
Absolutely. And then we got the main event, Kenny Omega defeating Sami Callihan. We talked a little bit about that earlier. John, what were your thoughts on all that?
I was honestly really upset that Sami did not win the championship.
This was a long fucking match too, man.
The after match.
It was a long fucking match. It was almost a half an hour.
It was a great match, though.
Yeah.
It was and I mean, Sami Callihan and Kenny Omega brought out the best of one another in that match. Like, it was definitely back and forth. It was definitely fast paced. It was hard hitting. I was like, fuck, man. And then, like you said, Kenny picks up the win, and instantly I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, God damn it. Like, if Sami Callihan can't be the guy who fucking beats him, then who? And, the Good Brothers get up in the ring, and they're celebrating with Kenny Omega, and this fucking music goes off. And I'm like, I don't know whose fucking music that is. And I'm like, I don't follow Impact Wrestling by any means. So don't take it as like, I know everybody's music by heart. But with all like the recent layoffs and everything from WWE, I'm like, great. Here comes one of those WWE guys stepping foot into TNA territory. Yeah. Who's it going to be? And it wasn't. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it's somebody from New Japan. And for those of you who follow New Japan, it is the never open champion, Switchblade Jay White, makes his Impact debut at Slammiversary. And he proceeds to like come down to the ring, stepping over all like the broken tables and the chairs. And he walks the long way around the ring, and he gets in the ring. And, the Good Brothers are throwing up the 2 sweets at him. And he's just standing there staring at Kenny.
Yeah.
And then they fade to black.
Yeah, well, but it's like, and I feel like it lasted forever, man.
Oh,
like,
it did.
The Good Brothers and Don Callis, they're all trying to get Jay White to throw up the 2 sweet. They're just doing it. But Kenny, he's just like him and like, Jay and Kenny are just like locked eyes, like nothing. Like they're neither of them are moving,
So now, luckily enough, I got a guy at work who he really knows like this whole situation. So he filled me in so that I could talk about this a little bit.
Okay.
And he talked a little bit about this off camera. So for those of you who don't know the situation, Kenny Omega started the Bullet Club with he started with like the Good Brothers and the so-and-sos. And when Kenny Omega left, Jay White stepped in and took over as leader of the Bullet Club. And that's when a lot of people say the Bullet Club really took off and like hit its stride.
Yeah.
So right now, Gallows and Anderson are like the middlemen of like, they've been with both versions of the Bullet Club. They've been with like the kind of original version. I found out like the Guerrillas of Destiny, which is Tama Tonga and his partner, are also sided with Jay White in this whole thing. and like there's a lot of rumors that God are coming to Impact Wrestling at some point as well. And Tama Tonga he's part of the Samoan heritage from like where the Anali family is from, but he's not part of the Anali family.
Okay.
So there's some like bloodline connections there, but not actual bloodline, which I think is actually really kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I know you've heard me mention Tama Tonga's name before.
Yeah.
So Jay White though has claim right now to be like he's still the leader of the Bullet Club. And so on Impact, he came out and he was talking to the fans and he goes, I hate the Bullet Club fans. And, all of a sudden there's all these people chanting Bullet Club and Too Sweet. And he's like, oh, no. I'm not talking about you, the fans. I'm talking about Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. Like, talking about like they're like in 2013 throwing up the Too Sweets like they still matter. And he literally pretty much said Kenny Omega's a poser and that the Good Brothers can't even cut the cheese anymore to be part of the Bullet Club. So I have a feeling Jay White's going to be the next person to step up and go after Kenny Omega. And I'm really excited for this because I don't know much about Jay White, but the little bit of his shit that I have seen, god damn, this man can work. And he's only in his he's in his late 20s. Like I don't think a day over 30.
Oh wow.
The beard really adds years to him.
It's true. It's
matter of fact, give me your your thoughts on this, and I'm going to Google him really quick.
On the whole Bullet Club thing?
Yeah, the Bullet Club, the ending of Slammiversary.
Yeah, I thought I knew who I know I had heard of Jay White. I didn't really know a lot about him before this happened because I watch something called the Schmodown. There's a competitor there who goes by the Switchblade. So I made a graphic using his logo a while back. And so I knew I knew of him, but I didn't really know much of anything about him.
The basics I know about him is I just Googled him. He's 28 and he's from New Zealand.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so, him coming out, I liked his look. I liked his attitude. He got it, when he was up in the ring and it really seemed like there was some real heat there with him and Kenny. Whether the heat is real, doesn't matter because they're able to make it feel real. And that's what matters. Yeah. I don't care if it's real or not. They make it feel real. And I like that, so it actually excites me to see what they're going to do with the two of them.
Yeah, no, I cannot wait to see where this goes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was really upset that we were okay, so now that we're here again, I was really upset that Kenny Omega lost or Sami Callihan lost because I really thought that Sami Callihan was going to be the guy to step up and put Kenny Omega in his place.
Yeah.
And then this happens and I'm like, "Oh shit, there was a bigger picture that, as a wrestling fan, maybe it's because I don't watch Impact or I don't, feed into a lot of the online shit. But this whole Jay White thing was kept really hush.
Yeah.
There wasn't any, backstage reports that he was there. There wasn't any, Jay White's been seen at Impact. There was no, this could possibly happen. It was kept hush, and it just happened. And I was like, oh, fuck. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's pretty cool, too. All right, so that was Slammiversary. Next, we are going to hop into AEW's Fyre Fest, the two-night event, two-week event, I guess you could say, which took place around both Slammiversary and Money in the Bank. Because Slammiversary was on Saturday, Money in the Bank was on Sunday, but the 2 nights of Fyre Fest were on the Wednesdays before and after, which I thought was interesting. It was a full just week of a crazy amount of wrestling stuff going on.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, okay, shit. We got a lot of shit to talk about here. All right. So night 1, Fyre Fest or Fighter Fest. We got Jon Moxley defeating Carl Anderson to retain the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. John, any thoughts on that?
I mean,
it's Jon Moxley. I didn't know if
it was. It was more though.
Love that guy.
It was nice to get to see Carl Anderson step up and show what he can do as a singles competitor.
Yeah, man, dude. From the little bit that I was able to see from that one, because it was. I'll be honest. It was hard to find highlights from this show.
Yeah.
But I was able to find like stuff from that match specifically. Anderson, dude, he really showed up to this match. You know, I dug what I saw from him.
It's a breath of fresh air because I mean, most people I feel only think of Anderson as a tag wrestler. He really showed he can hold his own when it comes to, you know. I love that like they're really leaning into the New Japan side of him too. Like he's Machine Gun Carl Anderson. Like he's stepping himself up.
Yeah.
And I love that this match was it was great. And it was contested under New Japan ruling. So it wasn't like, you know, normal like WWE, AEW shit.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. Then we got the FTW World Championship match where Ricky Starks defeated Brian Cage to become the new champion. I mean, I guess if they want to make this title more legitimate, go ahead. I don't care. I don't care about the FTW championship at all.
I think it's still weird though that AEW is not recognizing this as an actual AEW championship.
Yeah.
It's not available like on AEW shop or anything like that. And yet they're still trying to like I said, I understand why the storyline had to happen. They want Brian Cage to be his own guy.
Yeah.
They're trying to break him out of the Taz faction. And in order to do that, he had to lose the belt.
But we talked about this off air before, like the other day, about how I don't understand why it had to be contested in a sanctioned AEW match. Like,
I think they just
if it's not a title, then have it be like a fucking unsanctioned street fight or something crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be sanctioned by AEW if it's not one of their titles.
True.
Or it should have gone the way that it went the first time, where Brian Cage was just handed the title. Taz just should have taken it away. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't. It's like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're like, we want to put this, you know, we want to have matches for this title, but we don't want to recognize it. It's like you got to pick a lane.
Yeah, no, and I get that. I think it's one of those they hope people don't overthink it situations.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking I don't even watch it regularly. And I'm over here fucking thinking about it. Like, what are these like the people actually watching it think? That's I don't know.
I haven't heard any real negative feedback from it, really.
And maybe I'm lonely on an island over here.
Maybe it's just because you don't watch the product much.
Maybe.
I mean, you think Brian Cage really only carried that championship because Taz gave it to him. It was like a trophy piece.
I know. I saw that happen. I remember when he gave him the title.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching it at that point. And then I just kind of fell off from watching. I fell off from watching pretty much all wrestling for a while there, you know, really. But so it's just like I don't care about this title because they didn't make us care.
No, and that's exactly it though. They didn't make us care about that.
They treated it like it didn't matter. So why should I give a flying fuck who has this title? I just don't care. So then we got a match for the ages, John. Christian Cage, Matt Hardy.
Yeah, but I mean, at least this is 11 years past their last actual one-on-one encounter.
It's true, and they put on a long match, man. It's like 13 minutes.
Classic match.
Dude.
Like, there was so much hate on this match online.
Yeah.
Because people were like, oh, here we go again. Christian Cage versus Matt Hardy. I'm like, yeah, but both men really showed up for this match.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't just a match for them. This was them reminding people that they might be, like, yesteryear guys, but they've still got what it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the idea of putting them together in a match because, like, a lot of people shit on those, like, older guys like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, oh, why are they getting the shots when these young guys should be getting them? Well, now you can't complain because it's the two older guys fucking fighting each other. Like,
yeah, and
why not?
They worked with each other for so long.
Yeah,
they know. I mean, they're like good friends, man. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there was some estranged heat in there for a little while after the whole like edge triangle. But I mean, like like Matt Hardy still probably calls Christian up once in a while. He's like, "Yo, man, what's up? You watching like WWE shit product? You see how they're burying my brother? What the fuck?"
Yep. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm glad that they were able to just kind of put on a good showing.
And they did. They put on a great show.
Yeah. So then we got another single, a lot of just singles matches. Not a lot of stipulations going on. There's only one stip match in the first night, and that's at the end, which we'll get to. But really, yeah, just a lot of singles matches. I'm like, okay. So we got Sammy Guevara defeating Wheeler Yuta with Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. I don't know who Wheeler Yuta is, to be totally honest with you.
I don't know who it is either.
I know who the other three people in this thing are, but I don't actually know who Wheeler Yuta is. It was a fairly short match, but yeah, I like Sammy Guevara, so I guess I'm glad
you pronounce his name like that.
Is that not how it's pronounced?
Guevara.
Oh, I just always assumed it was Guevara. I don't know.
Guevara. Sammy Guevara. Okay.
I mean, I know people with that spelling of a name, and they pronounce it the way I said it, so I guess it could be just personal choice. So I know people who pronounce their last name Guevara. So, and it's spelled that way. I'm just saying.
I mean, maybe he's just never corrected anybody.
Or maybe, it just might, his family might pronounce it that way.
Maybe.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm glad he won.
Sex god.
Then we got Yuka Sakazaki defeating Penelope Ford.
Yeah, dude. I was actually a little shocked on that one.
Yeah.
I like Penelope Ford. Like
I know you do. You've talked about her before, so I know that you like her. Were you able to see any of it?
No. I saw like the little bits of the highlights, and it looked like a decent match. But
okay,
I'm gonna actually try to like see if I found like full versions of Fyter Fest on YouTube. Okay. But I wasn't committing into like almost 5 hours of wrestling before the podcast tonight.
Oh, fair enough. No, I get that. And then we got the main event of night one, a coffin match. Darby Allin defeating Ethan Page.
Yes.
John, I'm sure you got something to say about this one.
I got a little bit to say about this one, and it's not so much about the match itself, because I thought Ethan Page and Darby Allin put on one hell of a match. Okay. My question for you, because I know you saw the highlight package.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with Darby Allin? I get he's the man with no fear, and he's a crazy motherfucker, but he wins the match, and then proceeds to coffin drop the fucking coffin from the like middle rope. Top rope. I think it was the middle rope.
Yeah, I think so.
But that is an unnecessary spot. The match is over. You've already won.
Yeah.
Why would you fucking risk hurting yourself or Ethan Page?
Yeah.
I don't know if because I know at least from like the camera angles that I saw from the highlight package, like you could see Ethan Page in the casket and he was like along the wall. Like he had himself out of the way for the spot. But that could have fucking went so wrong.
Yeah. It did see I understand. Oh, you want a big pop for the end of night one.
Yeah,
I get it, but I don't know. Like you said, it seemed unnecessary.
I mean, I get it, but I mean, like I said, yeah, it just seemed a little unnecessary.
Yeah. And then so then we get into night two the following week, and we start off with a chairs match. But the stipulation only applied to one person. Shawn Spears. Yeah, it was Chris Jericho versus Shawn Spears. And like I said, the chairs match stipulation only applied to Shawn Spears. Yep. Jericho had to wrestle under normal singles match rules, which I find interesting because that means, Shawn Spears can go around smacking Jericho with chairs all day.
I love that because now Shawn Spears is taking to call himself the chairman of AEW. And it just it reminisces for me with early days of WCW for me. When I started really getting into WCW, there was a Mexican wrestler that a lot of people are familiar with. I know you know the name, La Parka.
Oh, yeah, man.
And La Parka used to refer to himself as the chairman of WCW because he always had a chair with him and it pretty much always got used.
Yeah.
I was like, Shawn Spears is La Parka.
Fair enough. But somehow Chris Jericho still able to squeak out that win, even though he did not have use of a chair.
Nope.
Yeah. So I don't know what that says about Shawn Spears, though, because he had the upper hand.
He did.
But
you're also going up against Le Champion.
Yeah.
Up against a fucking legend like Chris Jericho.
I mean, I guess.
But they're also building towards a bigger picture here with MJF.
Yeah.
And what happens after the match, I think, is bigger anyway.
Okay.
We saw the debut of fucking Nick Gage. which is weird because he's in a feud right now with Matt Cardona outside of AEW Impact Wrestling. Like, they're feuding in GCW, which is a territory I'd never really heard of.
Really?
And like they're back and forth on Twitter all the time. So I'm wondering if we might see some cross-brand shit happening here too.
Hey, that could work. Why not, right?
And is it just me, or does Nick Gage look like a methed out version of Shawn Michaels?
Yeah, I could see that.
But he cut a great promo.
It's true.
And Nick Gage has a lot of passion in him. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he does. But, it is what it is. So then we get a singles match. Doc Gallows defeating Frankie Kazarian. When I saw the name Frankie Kazarian, I was like, oh, shit, this dude's still doing stuff.
Yeah, man. SCU, man.
Yeah, man, I love it. It's great stuff.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, some of these guys, like, we saw them when, like, him and Daniels, man. They're TNA classics for us.
I love both of those guys. So I was like, awesome.
And Daniels are still in great conditioning, too. Like,
yeah,
they're a little bit, like, older, and, like, their body shape isn't, like, 2004, 2005, but, like, they're still competing on a regular basis. That's got to show something.
Yeah. So then this next match, I was like, when I looked at it, I was like, I'm curious what the backstory was, because we saw both these guys the previous week, and it's Darby Allin defeating Wheeler Yuta in a singles match. I don't know what the backstory is. Do you know anything more about it?
Honestly, I don't. Okay. I didn't even know that match happened.
Yeah, I mean, according to the results here,
I mean,
Darby Allin defeated Wheeler Yuta. So it was Darby Allin with Sting defeating Wheeler Yuta with Orange Cassidy in a singles match.
That's who Darby was fighting during that.
Only lasted 4 minutes, but
I don't know the reason for the match, but I know what happened during the match, and I thought that was even funnier because I sent you the clip. Sting and Orange Cassidy are on the outside of the ring.
Oh, that's okay. Okay,
yeah,
I remember you sending me that clip, and I was like, "Oh, that's funny," and then I didn't think anything else of it.
So during the match, there's this showdown between Sting and Orange Cassidy, and Orange does the whole hands up into his pockets, and then him and Sting exchange these fucking kicks that could have tore a house down. I swear to God, no punches were pulled. Kids in the front row were like, "Oh my God, were they in the danger zone?" Jesus Christ, man! Think of the children.
It was fantastic. Oh my God. That was good stuff.
I have to say, that made me laugh because it's classic fucking Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
It shows the great side of Sting's humor. And I love how even after
the fact that Sting was willing to go along with that was just
fucking he is.
That was awesome.
I love how after the exchange though, in Orange Cassidy fashion, he's like,
yeah.
I'm like
yeah.
That makes more sense now because I didn't know the match. I just knew the showdown between Cassidy and Sting. And I was like, oh, okay. That's why Darby Allin was in the ring.
You know what? That whole match, probably just to get that one scene.
I'm okay with that.
Yep. Totally
That's
okay.
why the match only lasted 4 minutes.
Yep.
Guys, go out there and do this long enough that Sting and Darby can have their moment, and you're good.
Cassidy. Orange Cassidy.
Or Cassidy.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said Darby, but that's okay.
Whatever.
But yeah, I would not doubt that for 1 second. Then we got singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, alongside Rebel, defeating Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero. Yeah, man, Britt Baker. I like her.
Yeah, you do.
Glad she retained her title.
You let her make your teeth white, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Maybe I'd make her teeth white. Anyways, any thoughts on this match?
Not really. No, I was shocked to see Nyla Rose back in the title picture.
I mean, this was a long one. This was a 12-minute match.
They went the distance with this one that they were given.
Absolutely.
And it was a good match.
The fact that AEW was like, okay, ladies, here you're gonna get 12 minutes. just fucking rock the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like that's confidence to me, because the men's matches, other than the opener and the closer, none of the others got close to that time.
My thing is more just I'm still not 100% on Nyla Rose.
Fair enough. I get that.
It's unfair biasness on me right now. Like, and it makes me sound like a bad person, so I just don't want to get into it.
Fair enough. Then we got singles match. Orange Cassidy back out there again.
Yeah, buddy.
With Chris Statlander defeating the Blade with the Bunny. So yeah, Orange Cassidy doing his thing again with the Blade. That's always fun.
There are peoples though. The Blade and the Bunny.
Man.
Orange Cassidy guy, but Blade and Bunny, they're our hometown beeps, man.
Absolutely.
Can't hate on them.
And not at all. A little sad to not see him pick up the win.
True.
But glad that he's getting. I'm just glad that Pepper has gotten himself over into AEW and is making a good name for himself there.
Oh yeah, and he still looks really good.
We always saw a lot of potential in that guy. So
I said back when we saw him in ESW years ago, he was going somewhere.
Yeah,
like he was only an ESW champ at the time, and I was like, future WWE guy.
Yeah,
like granted. I mean, he went the other direction. He went Impact and AEW, but like,
hey man, that's okay because Impact's kind of the hot spot now. You know what I mean? So
it is the hot spot, and I like that there is life outside of WWE.
Absolutely. And then we got the final match, the main event, a Texas death match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah.
Match could be won by knockout or submission only. Lance Archer defeating Jon Moxley by knockout to take the IWGP US title. What are your thoughts on that?
First off, fucking congratulations to Lance Archer.
Yeah.
Like, he fucking deserved that.
Yeah.
That match was a fucking clinic, one for the ages. And I mean, like, goddamn. First off, he is a big name in Japan. Like, he made a name for himself overseas when TNA and WWE couldn't do shit with him. So good for him. Yeah. And second off, just, wow, man. Jon Moxley fucking putting on the fucking clinic he did. Like, he took fucking shots in that match that were unnecessary, but looked great.
Yeah.
Jon Moxley just going straight balls to the wall. And if you haven't seen this match, like, I recommend fucking going out there, looking it up on YouTube or something, because this match is fucking great. It felt like it went on for like a little too long. But what was it at, like 18 something?
It was only 13, just over 13. But I mean
it was still good though.
Yeah, absolutely. It dragged a little bit at points, but they did some fantastic stuff.
Fantastic shit.
So yeah, I thought it was great.
Congratulations to fucking Archer on that one, man. Like,
yeah, oh yeah, woo. that was a intense way to end that. To end Fyter Fest.
I give Moxley a lot of credit though, because like he really defended the championship both nights. Kenny can't say that. Kenny didn't even defend the title.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
although we did get some build up in there for his match with Adam Page. So I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some good results, some good matches out of that. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. So that was Fyter Fest. What were your overall thoughts?
Overall, man, I thought Fyter Fest was actually really good.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really. I would give both nights as a combined pay-per-view. I'd probably give it a solid B.
All right. Fair enough. All right. Now for our final topic. Money in the Bank. That's right. The Money in the Bank pay-per-view happened just recently. I think it was this past Sunday. So we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit. We had a pre-show match. The Usos defeating the Mysterios. They have a tag name, don't they? I don't even know what it is.
The Mysterios?
Yeah, do they have a tag name?
I think just the Mysterios.
Oh, okay. For some reason I thought they had like an actual tag name, but
no, that would be cool though if they did.
They should. So they lost the match though, but for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, I watched a little bit of this one because I didn't actually watch the full pay-per-view. I just watched some highlights from it. But yeah, I thought
I thought that Dominic did a pretty good job. He was,
he's
doing
really
his thing
improved since like last year.
Yeah.
He debuted during like the Thunderdome era.
Yeah.
He really didn't get a chance to really have like the fans there for him, and
that's true. Then we got the women's Money in the Bank match. We saw Zelina Vega, Tamina, Natalia, Naomi, Liv Morgan, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, all hashing it out here, but not successful enough to defeat Nikki ASH.
Almost a superhero.
That's right. Nikki Cross fucking just taking that thing home. We did at the end, we did get like a little confrontation between Nikki and Alexa, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was cool too.
I liked seeing them back in the ring together. So that was nice. Then we got a tag team match for the WWE Raw Tag Team Championships. AJ Styles and Omos defeating the Viking Raiders.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, man. It was nice seeing them.
He got to show some talent in this match.
Yeah,
he wasn't just the big brooding guy. He actually wrestled, and I was more understanding as to like, okay, like he can do some shit. Okay.
This match went longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, you know honestly, I wasn't expecting it to be a long match either. Yeah. I figured it was going to be a squash match based on Omos, or it was going to be like a squash match because the Viking Raiders got the upper hand in like a 2-on-1 really quick. Yeah. I didn't expect this to be like a match.
Yeah, the Viking Raiders really showed that that they deserve to be in this picture. So
absolutely, dude, they're one of the most legitimate tag teams WWE has right now.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're back. Because they were gone for a while there, man.
Yeah.
Like they were hot. Back when like the Street Profits were hot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then both teams just because I think there was injuries going on and all this other stuff, and so it just kind of fizzled out. But I'm glad to see them. I'm glad to see them back. So then we got singles match for the WWE Championship. We got Bobby Lashley retaining against Kofi by technical submission. Dude, fucking Kofi got destroyed in this match. And like I understand they're not ready to take the title off of Bobby Lashley yet, but like why you gotta bury Kofi? Like, and maybe this has to do with what we talked about before about them looking to split up the New Day.
Maybe
making what's my point? Making Kofi look weak could sow some sort of like maybe Xavier will be like, you're over here getting title shots and you can't even deliver. You know what I mean? And it could start something.
Yeah,
it could start something. Because other than that, you don't need to make Bobby Lashley look that strong anymore.
No.
Like, you've done that for years now. Like, it's not like he's never lost, you know? And obviously he wasn't going to lose. So why bury Kofi? Why not let him have a good fight in there and put on a good show?
Honestly, man, I agree with you 100% on that one.
Yeah, I don't get it. And that's one of the big reasons I don't like Bobby Lashley, because of the way they book him with other people and bury those people.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So then we got the singles match for the WWE Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair defeating Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
By submission, which pissed me off.
But they did this on purpose, and I understand.
I know. Still, like the moment I fuck, because like I knew the result before I saw it. Yeah. And the moment that I found out that Charlotte won this match, I was just pissed off.
So getting to this point is where I'm going to bring up the whole Raw thing now. Like you, I heard about this and then I was like, fuck. It's like, really, Charlotte won? I'm like, well, why the fuck would they let Charlotte win the title? And then on Monday Night Raw, there was a rematch for the Women's Championship, and Charlotte Flair fucking disqualifies herself like almost immediately.
That because like I watched that night. Yeah. It's one of the few times I've watched Raw in months.
Yeah.
And I was watching and I was like, okay, maybe Rhea will actually get this title back. We'll see what happens. And then she fucking disqualifies herself. And I was even more pissed off because I was like, fuck you, Charlotte.
Yeah. And that's because I heard about that. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, why would she disqualify herself just to keep the championship?
Well, yeah.
And then Rhea Ripley destroys fucking Charlotte.
Yeah.
And the thing that really clicked in my mind was she destroys her outside of the ring and then picks her up and throws her in the ring. Yep. And I'm like, oh my God, it's going to happen.
And then boom.
Holy shit. Here comes Nikki Cross down to the ring. Mm-hmm. Cashes in, climbs to the top rope. And that's where instantly I'm like, oh God. She's going to be one of the few it doesn't happen for. And she has this diving crossbody.
But here was my thing. I was like, she climbed up there. I was like, why are you waiting? She's waiting for her to get up. I'm like, oh, she's gonna catch her, and it's just gonna turn out really bad. And everything that I feared was gonna happen with this gimmick is about to happen, but it doesn't.
Nope. She hits the diving crossbody. 1, 2, 3. Nikki Cross. And I know I said it earlier, but Nikki Cross, new WWE Women's Champion, and
she just takes right the fuck off, man.
Did. I mean, good for Nikki. Yeah, she deserves it at this point.
Yeah, I was so shocked. It happened. I was like, oh, yeah. I was afraid I was going to wake up my daughter.
Like I said, it makes sense as to why Money in the Bank happened the way it did. They don't want to take away the build they're giving Rhea Ripley. If they would have had Nikki Cross cash in on Rhea, there would have had to have been more to it.
Yeah. And I feel like having Nikki defeat Charlotte, because Charlotte has so much heat on her anyways, especially after winning the title again.
Yeah.
That fans are more likely to really get behind Nikki with this win. But if she had beaten Rhea, there would have been a big split.
Yep.
A big split.
Yep. And like you said, man, they made the right decision on this one.
Yeah.
They were like, well, shit, let's just have her drop the title to Charlotte. Then Nikki can beat her. And like they make the because I found this out a while ago and I think this is cool. They make decisions about cash-ins pretty much on the spot.
Mm.
This isn't one of those WWE planned 6 months in advance usually. They usually the person who has the briefcase does not know when they're cashing in until moments beforehand.
That's kind of wild.
A lot of the people who cash in look sincere when win or loss happens.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So
cool. I dig that, man. I like that.
And I found that out after I don't remember who had the briefcase, but I found out they had talked in an interview where they were I was given the briefcase and told I was going to hold it for so long, but they don't actually tell you who you're catching in against or where the plans are. And the guy was I don't remember who it was, but they were I didn't find out I was actually cashing in that night until 5 minutes before.
Oh, wow.
It was literally oh, hey, you're kind of partially out of your gear. Go throw your gear back on because you're cashing in.
Huh. That's actually, I kind of like that. It gives a little spontaneity to it.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be really spontaneous, and you don't want that leaking out.
No.
So I like that. But this whole thing solidifies what we were talking about before about SummerSlam, why I think we're going to see a triple threat match.
Absolutely. I'm fine with that.
I totally feel like that's what we're going to so then we got the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We saw Seth Rollins, Riddle, Ricochet, King Nakamura, Kevin Owens, John Morrison, Drew McIntyre all lose out to Big E, who is now the Mr. Money in the Bank.
Yep.
So what'd you think about Big E taking this?
I was a little shocked, but at the same time, we talked about how WWE is trying to put the rocket on him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of seen it coming after I heard the results. I was like, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
There was a couple moments, though, during that match where I was just like, holy fuck. Did you see Ricochet's big dive into, the entranceway?
Yeah.
Kind of reminiscent of, the Shelton Benjamin one from a few years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude, did you see fucking Kevin Owens take that ladder spot?
Yeah.
Dude.
anytime somebody takes that spot, I cringe. Whether they're getting power bombed through the ladder, whether it's fucking Jeff Hardy just leaping off of one ladder through the other ladder, I'm just like, anytime that metal ladder just snaps in half, it's involuntary. I'm just like, oh fuck, every time.
Like, oh, that person's out.
Yep, I've been chucked into my share of ladders. Luckily, I've never had one break like that. I mean, we've had ladders break.
Oh, yeah.
But not like that specifically.
No, never like that.
Whew, I don't know, man. But yeah, it was wild. It was wild.
Yeah, it was insane. It was a great match, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But then we got the WWE Universal Championship match, Roman Reigns defeating Edge. So I'm sure you were rooting for Edge, even though...
I was really rooting for Edge on this one because I thought this was really his time.
Yeah.
I don't think the outside interference from Seth Rollins helped, but I mean,
it's obviously, like you said before, it's obvious they're setting stuff up.
Yeah, and that's it. You gotta kind of put the seeds in there to start sowing seeds because SummerSlam is only like 5 weeks away. Yeah. So I mean, you got to start putting the seeds in there somewhere. Not to mention, Roman and Seth have the history together. I mean, they fought each other. They were the Shield together.
Yep.
I'm just kind of made me a little sad that Edge didn't win, but I get it. They've got a bigger picture going.
And this was a fucking long match.
Yeah, but it was a great match.
Oh, yeah.
Edge looked good.
We're talking over a half an hour.
Yeah.
And
it felt like it, though, too.
Yeah, it did. But the two of them, they put on as much of a clinic as they probably could have, you know what I mean? But that wasn't it. That wasn't the end.
Nope.
We had one more thing happen. John,
yeah.
What happened at the end of Money in the Bank?
We kind of ruined it talking a little bit in Breaking Kayfabe.
That's true.
But yeah, the return of John Cena to set up for SummerSlam. He's going to be challenging Roman Reigns for the Men's SmackDown Championship.
Yep.
Which just irritates me.
Then he showed up.
If somebody's going to challenge Roman, I guess it might as well be Cena at this point.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's just so many other people that could be.
But here's the thing. Like I said when we were talking about the possibilities of SummerSlam, I just don't see him winning.
I don't see it either.
So it's just you're bringing somebody big in. You wanted to get – because, this is the first full audience pay-per-view.
Yep. And they want the buy rates.
Yeah, man, and I think that there was a rumor out there about Cena.
There was a rumor about Cena and The Rock.
Yeah, and so I wouldn't doubt that they floated that rumor out to get people excited to come to the show, all that stuff, to watch, and then boom, he comes out, people pop, and then the next night, he's on Raw, so it's going to jack up the ratings on Raw. He showed up on SmackDown. It's going to jack up the ratings on SmackDown.
I've heard as of right now, too, he's not locked down to just SmackDown. He's going to be appearing on both Raw and SmackDown.
I mean, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's going to open up their ratings for both shows. It's the smartest thing they can do, especially leading into SummerSlam.
Well, especially just coming out of the Thunderdome era, too.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting people back in the seats.
Yeah.
You're going to want as many people to buy tickets as you can.
Yep.
Kids love John Cena.
It's true. I mean, my kid loves John Cena, and I knew he was opening Raw, and so I was like, "You want to stay up a few extra minutes because John Cena is going to be on wrestling," and she was fucking pumped.
Sadly, my kid also loves John Cena, so I can't even can't.
Yeah. But, so overall, what'd you think of Money in the Bank?
It was a good pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It wasn't but it was better than some of the recent WWE shit.
That's true, and it had some really, really good moments throughout.
Did.
Some real good moments.
It did.
Seeing Nikki Cross win the Money in the Bank and then cash in that night and win the title. Or no, she cashed in the next night.
Cashed in on Raw. Yeah.
But seeing her win,
nights.
and then because it all just kind of blurred together for me, because I watched all that kind of stuff pretty much together, and then seeing her, that next night, just everything,
I don't know, has some good stuff going on. I love seeing Big E kind of get a bit of a push. You know what I mean? So
I think WWE is finally realizing they've got to start giving better content, or otherwise they're really going to start falling behind in the ratings race. And if they do that, there's no coming back for them.
That's true.
I mean, AEW is really putting them on point at this, and they're putting them on notice. Like, hey, we're here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, well, John, that wraps up this episode. A long one. We haven't done a long one like this in a while.
No. But this has been a really great episode, considering there was so much to talk about.
It's true. So let the fans know where they can find you.
I mean, guys, you can literally always find me here at Simply Sane J1 on Twitter, where I talk about my podcast. I post random shit, questions. If you haven't checked out my podcast, please go over to Simply Sane with Jay. You can find me wherever podcasts are available. I'm working on a podcast episode coming up here really soon.
Man. You and me gotta fucking record an episode.
That's what I was gonna say. We're gonna record here in a couple. Probably I'm gonna try to get you to record with me in a couple days. Right. We'll do some audio, and I'll have you just email me the audio, and then we'll get some shit going. Also, I'm on another podcast with Josh. It is called How I Met Your Mother. Oh, well, it's a How I Met Your Mother podcast. Sorry, it's called Last Call in the Clarence.
There we go.
You can check us out there, where I know Josh just scored a special interview with who, Josh?
Wendy the waitress herself.
What?
Charlene Amoya. Yeah, that'll be, I have to finish editing that, and then I'll have that up as a special episode. It'll be
good.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're on a few special guests for this as well, but we're having some difficulties. I actually had talked to a couple people, which I forgot to tell you about actually.
We'll talk off air with that.
We will. But yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. You guys know the spiel. You know where to find me. If you want to, please do. Reach out to us. You can also find us on the Patreon. Josh, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR, as well as right down here at Movie Blog Merc. That is the site for my webpage, Merc with a movie blog. Definitely check me out there. And as you can see at the bottom there, you can find us Off the Ropes at Off the Ropes JJ on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, Anchor, Patreon, all of that.
Pretty much all social media is Off the Ropes JJ for this.
Patreon. I tried to make it pretty universal. It's all Off the Ropes JJ all around.
If you go to Patreon, there are different tiers of things you can do. That does not mean that if it's not there, we will not do it. Ladies and gentlemen, we will work with you.
Absolutely.
If you want something special, email us, tweet at us. Yes. I mean, put a message in a bottle and throw it out to sea and hope we get it. We will work with you.
Yes.
We will do what you want.
Yes.
Don't ever think we will not give the fans what we want. You want to see me super kick Josh in the face and buzz his head? Send me $50.
Fair enough.
I mean, you can cash at me. It's the $ J_made. Just saying. You cash at me $50, I'll fucking buzz his head.
Fair enough. And I'll do some weird shit to John. I'm just saying.
Fair.
But, yeah. I mean, this has been an episode, I suppose. Episode 30 of Off the Ropes with John and Josh. I am Josh.
I'm fucked up.
That's right. And we are down for the count. Catch you guys next time.
Puppies and fingers.